What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the show. As always, each and every episode is brought to you by All I Need Skate Co. If you are in need of a new skateboard or some fresh apparel, check out ALLiNEEDSKATE.com. We have 3 new board graphics up on the site right now. We have Timmy Knuth's newest pro model Cash Deck. This artwork is by Peter James Glenn, and it spells out all I need big across the board. And in the background is all old-timey fashion, like cash, and it's very flashy. I love it. Yeah, tons of gold coins and a bunch of old-fashioned, timey-looking dollar bills, and just, it's epic, man. It looks so good printed out on the board. We also have a Corey Goonan new pro model titled Jewels. And again, this artwork is by Peter James Glenn. And this one spells out all I need big across the board, and it's made up of all types of rubies and jewels. It's really, really flashy. Both these decks look amazing. They're definitely wall hangers. I should actually hang them up in the podcast studio. That might be my next move. We also have a guest pro model for Ryan Adelman. It is the Skate Dad deck, which is a shout out and a tribute to all you skate dads out there that are raising children, working 9 to 5, and still finding time to keep up with your skating and progressing and being a good influence out there at the skate parks for all the young rippers out there. You're doing God's work, and the Skate Dad Pro model is for all of you out there. And that artwork is by Matt Troetti, and it looks unbelievable. It's got like Ryan bronzed and gold and a trophy, and it says #1 Skate Dad, and it's got like his house and his little skate park at his house in the driveway, and he's doing a slash grind. That's another wall hanger, which I'll put up in the studio. 2023 is going to be a huge year for all I Need apparel, so we've been going heavy on the site and updating weekly some new t-shirts, hoodies, all types of goodies, man. Head over to the site right now and check it out. We got a full zip hoodie, which I really love. We got a bunch of new t-shirt designs. We got several different sticker designs in multiple sizes. We got a throw blanket up there, the Skull Push throw blanket, which is visually really, really epic, man. I got one downstairs. My dogs love it because it's keeping them warm, but it's a massive blanket that just has our Skull Push design, which says never abandon ship, East Coast, All I Need Skate Co. We also have dad caps, snapbacks, multiple beanies up there, long sleeves, pullover hoodie. We even have our Thrive throw pillow, which, again, that's Peter's art, and it is psychedelic looking, man. Check out the pillow for sure. Shorts are up there, a couple different types of shorts. We got our hand plant and foot plant t-shirts. Check that out if you love to go upside down and do hand plants, or if you're big on foot plants. We got that t-shirts for you, which I might actually put on skateboard decks too. And I would say make sure to check out our Crush It Like Quint towel. It is the most epic towel you're going to find. If you want to have the towel of the year at the beach, swoop this thing up. Everything's small runs, first come, first serves. Hopefully we have the garment in your size. That would be epic. When checking out, whether you're copping a skateboard or apparel, there's a customer notes section, and if you throw in there that you listen to the podcast and maybe some encouraging words, I will hook you up with some free socks, free All I Need socks, just for the love, man, and for the support. Our guest today is Matthew Troetti. Matt owns a skate shop down in Oak Island, North Carolina called Never Ever Boards. Matt's been carrying All I Need in World decks since he's opened his shop, and we are about to head down to Oak Island for their grand reopening of their skate park, and we are going to do a skate jam. The All I Need team will be there. Let me pull up some of the details. If you're in the North Carolina area, you got to come out to this event. It'd be sick to see you and meet you, and you'd get to see the All I Need skate team shredding, and it's a new park, so they redid the whole thing. All right, so here's what the flyer says. Meet with the pros, OKI Skate Jam, Sponsored by All I Need World Industries. Registration is from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on March 18th. The jam's going to go till 5 p.m. We'll have two divisions, beginner and advanced, and we'll do a best trick at the end with a product toss. It's free to enter. Brought to you in part by Never Ever Boards. Skate jam competition, live music, free food, win cool prizes, meet and greet with the All I Need and World team. Make sure if you're in North Carolina, come on out. It's going to be awesome, man. Also, check out nevereverboards.com. Matt has built an awesome skate shop and a cool community, and there's tons of cool stuff on there. So please check that out. Yo, keep killing it. 2023 is going to be an awesome year. Now for the show. How's it going, Matt?
Good. How you doing tonight?
Just chilling. I was helping my lady. She just bought a sauna for her business.
Okay.
So we had to put it together. It's like just like a two-person sauna.
That's sweet. So is it all made out of wood?
Yeah, it's all made out of wood, like
Yeah.
base, top, four walls, heaters on the
That's
walls.
you gonna be
Um
getting in that?
oh, for sure, dude. I wanted to
Yeah.
get in it tonight, but maybe tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, man, how's it going with you?
Good. So had a pretty decent shop day. Pretty busy, throughout the day, and then I'm working on this thing kind of like behind the scenes, like it's sort of like underground right now at this point, but we're working on constructing this like mobile skate shop. So out of this like old school 1970s teardrop design, like Shasta camper, it used to
What?
be a taco truck. So
Wow.
getting totally re-outfitted on the inside. And I had a friend of mine from school, I've known him since like third grade. My friend Matt, he was working on it with his stepdad today. So finally starting to see it come together and like seeing some of my vision there, like actually become like a thing, like shelves, and we have power in there. So it feels good. Like I'm starting to get excited about it now.
Yeah, that sounds super cool.
Yeah. So like if fingers crossed, if we get approval and everything, we could park it at the local skate park they just built.
Oh, that's dope. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's sick. And it'd be good like during jams and stuff. You can just bring out the vehicle, you know?
That's it. Like, so they've told me like as a vendor, I could come in for that. So that would give me an excuse, like every time we have an event. And then we'll have like, all the like impulse kind of buy stuff and like little Debbie cakes and
Oh,
skates
yeah.
and boards that people can just use. Like we might rent them out or loan them out, but we could build boards in there and that kind of thing. So that'd be cool.
Yeah, that's cool. The Edge, the skate park near me, they rent out boards, you know, like $5 rent a board type thing at the park.
So that's kind of what I was thinking. I was thinking $5 an hour, maybe 10 tops, but like really maybe like $20 a day. But like the kids kind of got to feel like they got a little skin in the game, I feel like, because if you just gave it to them, well, what if it's broken? You got to have something to recoup that loss.
Yeah, yeah. And it's just like if you don't have a board and you could just borrow one for $20 for the day at the park, that's like a pretty
Yeah, and
deal.
it's
Yeah.
free to get into the park. So it's like, okay, we'll just consider that like your entry fee.
Yeah, usually people at the Edge they pay I think it's like 15 or $20 for like a 3 hour session, and then if you needed to rent a board you could, you know? Because a lot of times it'll be like a little kid on a scooter who's like, I want to try skateboarding, so you rent them the board too, and they already paid admission, so it's just
Well,
kind of like sick.
it's cool because like what I found out too, it kind of gives like a lot of kids like that are on the edge of wanting to skate or get a skateboard. It gives them like a taste for it. And for all of the kids that we've rented boards to in the past, they've always came back and like have bought a board. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
it like gets them started. They're like, okay, all right, I see this, I like this.
Yeah, that's the beauty of like getting someone to skateboard is like you know if they really get into it, they're just gonna be skating forever, you know? It's so
They'll be
addictive.
addicted. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly. It's so
And
fun.
it's such a friend and like group thing too. So like, you don't want to be the only kid out the group that's doesn't have a skateboard and can't skate. Like now, here you go. You got one. So,
Yeah. I was at the skate park last night and literally these dudes who skate from New Bedford and they're fucking really good at skating. They just grabbed scooters and were fucking dicking around.
Okay.
I was like, what? I just kind of was like busy filming skateboarding because to me, like scootering, like I don't care if people scooter, like if that's your
Sure.
prerogative. But I'm so
Right.
hyper focused on skating because it's like it's so complex and fun and like
Yeah.
rabbit hole forever. But it was so funny that they were doing that. They had some
That's
tricks in them, a couple tail whips and whatnot.
all right. And so they're getting a little fancy with it. I mean, like the thing is though, the way I feel about that too is I have a respect for anyone out there trying something.
Yeah, yeah.
So like, like kids scootering and stuff like that. I've seen some people kill it. I've seen people kill it with penny boards and bowls at
Damn.
the skate park. And I'm like, all right, go for it. Like you do
Yeah.
you, that's cool. Like whatever they could do and actually like, try to get good at, like, let's go for it.
Yeah, dude. At the end of the day, if you're rolling, like good for you. You know, you're doing something. You can be rolling on whatever wheels. Even rollerblading. I like not rollerblading so much, but
Yeah,
aesthetically, I like the way like actual old school roller skates look with the four wheels on each.
I do
Just
too.
yeah, it looks
It's
sick.
a whole vibe to it,
Yeah, yeah,
It's
facts.
like that old school like roller rink and stuff like that. It's like just makes you think of like old ice cream parlors and like pastel colors and that kind of thing. And I mean, even too, like with roller skating, there's a dance to that.
Oh yeah, it's more like dance for sure.
It's dancing. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like, wow, okay, you're smooth. You have some grace.
yeah.
That's figure skating or something too, I guess.
Oh, figure skating's sick. I haven't watched figure skating in so long. That's always like in the Olympics, right? That's like
Yes.
they're like battling it out.
So like I feel like I like miss in a sense like my fill of even luge throughout the year. Like you only see luging when the Olympics comes. And I wish that was like an all year round thing because luging is just so cool, I feel like to
Wait,
just
is illusion bobsledding same thing?
so it's yeah, I think well it's like where they lay down into that like I don't know, I'm picturing in my head like a casket kind of thing. And
Yeah, there's like four dudes or something.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, just one person, where they lay into this like this, it's like a slide kind of thing, but they go so fast, right?
Yeah. Oh, I know.
Like
Like
a
the single
bullet.
person though.
Yes, it's single
Yeah.
person.
That's insane. That's insane. It's almost like what is it? Downhill when you build your own like cart and do like a hill
Yeah, yeah,
derby.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I know what you're talking about. That's something else too. That's like you build it with like your dad or something like I
Yeah, you
can't
build like
remember
a
what that's
go-kart.
called, but I know
Go-karts
what you're.
maybe.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
Yeah.
about.
It's kind of like that, but more uniformed. It's
Mhm.
intense, dude. They go really fucking fast in luging too. I
It's
think they do
insane.
like
I'm like, how do you
yeah.
guys turn? Well, you can't see where you're at. Like, what? All right, we're just gonna fucking send it. Like, hopefully I don't die this time, right?
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah,
what
that's
like every
insane.
time.
It's just when you like sledding a lot. And
Yeah,
you
exactly.
turn pro sledding, you're basically losing.
You're like, you're right. Yeah, exactly. It's like, I really like this. Could I make a life out of this? A career?
Yeah, yeah.
And then it's like, have you heard of losing? It's like, what I could do this forever.
You have to be like the best loser. That should be a movie
The
with
best
like
sledder, right?
yeah, that should
Like
be
they
like
have scouts that come out to like Buffalo, New York, and they watch kids on the hill, and they're like, this is a kid. He's gonna
yeah.
be the best loser. Let's grab him.
You see how he grips the sled?
Yeah,
He's got a natural grip on him.
and
Uh
he's not even looking. That's what we need.
That's like a new Will Ferrell movie. They need to get him out there like pro
Yeah,
sledder.
right.
Um, okay, okay. Let's go to skate shop. Like,
Okay,
first, like, tell people your shop where it's located, and then just go into kind of how the idea came.
cool. So it's Never Ever Boards. That's the shop name. So like Never Ever Boards, like never ever be bored. We're an adventure brand, and then Never Ever Boards, like never ever land, like Peter Pan. So like you embrace like outdoor sports, you like stay young forever. So
Hell
that's it,
yeah!
like little skelly pin.
I saw the board. You have that on board too, right?
Yes, you want to see it?
Yeah, it looks sick online.
Yeah, they did good. So this was actually clutch distribution,
Sick, man.
you know, and I was just trying them out for the first time. I mean, a lot of these distributors and stuff right now, manufacturers for boards. They're throwing like free art fees out there, like art setup, like like it was a really good deal.
That's awesome.
I'll share with you later, but they definitely hooked it up. They did a great job. The print came out great in it too. Um, so yeah, we're located in Oak Island, North Carolina, beautiful Oak Island.
What's it like out there today?
So today was gorgeous. I mean,
Oh,
I gotta say it was such a nice day. And any other fellow shop owners out there, I was in the brick and mortar, trapped in the shop, and it was just so nice outside today. And I'm like, oh my God, I wish I was out there.
that's the best. Like when I skate the edge and you go outside after like 3 hours, you're like, oh my God, like there's light out still. You like get trapped in the box almost.
It's like going to the movies in the middle of the day. And then you
Yeah.
walk outside and you're like, was I in a wormhole or something? How many days have passed? What year is it? Like, just so nuts.
The groundhogs. Whoa.
Yeah. So we're basically Oak Island. Throughout the year, the weather is pretty mild. Today was like mid 70s.
Nice.
A nice breeze, so not too cold, not too hot, perfect skating weather. And so Oak Island is about 10 miles long. It's Barrier Island. It's off the coast of North Carolina, and it's tucked in between Wilmington and Myrtle Beach. So about 45 minutes from Wilmington, about 45 from Myrtle Beach.
Sick, man.
Yeah.
North Carolina seems like heaven on some, like I'm in New England and we just had snow today, but it's been a mild winter, but today we got slushy snow, like not
Uh,
much. They were trying to
so
say we were going to get like 15 inches and then it's mostly rain and
Okay,
we
so it's
inch and a
better
half.
than I guess. What like I hate like the tease of
Yeah.
like snow, because it's like, okay, if you're gonna do it, just fucking do it. Like give
Yeah.
us like because around here we'll get ice and the roads freeze. Everything around here totally shuts down once it's like if there's any sight of snow, all the schools are shut down because they don't really know what they're doing when it comes to like snow and stuff. So like everything will shut down.
Does it not snow that often?
No, never. Like we have like it's like almost like they reach through the archives and they're like, "Oh, it snowed on the beach in 1995 or something like that." And it looks cool. It's like, "Whoa, it's snow on the beach." Like so no, it never happens. We thought we might get snow on Christmas Day. No, didn't happen, which would have been awesome. But for North Carolina in a sense too. Like there we have a lot of filming around here because there's a lot of different types of scenery in North Carolina.
Yeah, hell
Like
yeah.
we're not too far from the mountains. We're at the beach here. We have country, rural areas, and then like I said, the coastal area. So we'll have a lot of filming around Oak Island and around Wilmington because they can actually like get all the kind of scenes that they need.
Yeah, that's sick. It's good to have a wide landscape.
Yes, exactly. And so also too the tax credits and that kind of thing with North Carolina because they were like really pushing for film. They give them a lot of like rebates to a lot of the film companies. So like Iron Man 3 was filmed over here.
Oh shit, Tony
Yeah.
Stark's.
Yeah, so that scene like in the beginning, like with the trailer or whatever, and they're like skydiving out of this like helicopter and you see like aerial view of an island. That's Oak
Yeah.
Island, actually.
What? That's
Yeah.
crazy.
So like me and my cousin, we were just going to the beach and we were over there by the pier and we walk out there and we look up and we're like, what is going like people are dropping out of planes onto the beach with tuxedos on. And it
What?
was because they were filming the movie.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Get to
So
see the movie going down in real time.
yeah, like watched it live. I watched Iron Man live.
You seen the stuntmen jumping out of the plane? I
Yeah,
wanna.
that's all they were probably. Like Tony Stark's who's over there sitting in his like, $1 billion jet somewhere
He's
probably.
got a trailer.
Yeah. So yeah, so then with Never Ever boards, I was living in Wilmington at the time and I was working at this place called Pita Delight. And it was like a chill, slick slack kind of job. Like it was like a chain for like pitas.
Pita being like the bread.
Yeah, so they had like steak and cheese pitas, like
Ooh,
chicken breast pita. I mean, It was
Oh,
actually kind of slamming. And
nice.
I went to school for cooking, right? So I went to
What?
school.
I love cooking.
Do you? Do you cook a lot too?
Yeah, but like not I just like make a bunch of meals out of different ingredients. I just kind of like don't follow any instructions, but I
You're
just like
just
to
like,
cook.
well, that's the sign of a
Yeah.
chef, right? It's
Oh,
like,
I guess, man.
or like, I mean, cooking's about that's why another reason why I like cooking and why I like skateboarding is just the artistic aspect of it. So it's an art to it. Like, so I liked cooking more than baking, which I like baking too. Baking's very precise.
Baking's sick. I watched the Great British Baking show and like all of them. My girl watches them. So fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like the cake shows and stuff like that. And you're
Yeah,
like,
some of them get ridiculous, but I like Paul Hollywood. He's
is
like
this
one
a
of the judges.
cake?
Yeah, dude, they got so crazy with the reality shows. They literally have a show that's like, is this real or is it a cake? And they just like cut it open. You're like,
It's
it's a
like,
cake.
no, it's cake. It's also cake. And then he's like, oh, and then it's the person the announcer's like presenting it or something like that. And it's like, is he cake? Oh, he's cake too. We're all fucking cake. Like
It just keeps going.
right?
Then they just get a bunch of chicks and dudes that are just narcissists in a room together. I haven't seen that one yet. I've seen them on a beach, like dating shows. I'm like, oh my God, this is insane.
Which is that one?
I don't know. There's too many of them.
Yeah, I know exactly. So
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 wait, how'd you do in school and what led into like cooking?
okay, so the thing is, like when I was in high school, I was going to when I was in high school, it wasn't like you could pick a concentration a little bit, but now they're starting to get a little more focused on that. But like so like concentration was really kind of in like computers, but I wound up finding an interest in broadcasting. So like I was working with actually the lady that taught the class. I was fortunate that she was a former news anchor and she like headed up the local station and that kind of thing. So it was like really official. Like our class was set up like it was like a newsroom. And
What?
so because I was so passionate about it and anything like I kind of get passionate about, I kind of start getting a little obsessed with it. It's a good thing and it's a problem sometimes. But with that, like I was like I got into everything with it. Like so I was writing the scripts for it. I was doing the video editing. I was doing the recording. I made it to where it was live for the first time for the the anchoring for like the Cougar View for our high school. And so I was like cross between what am I gonna do? Like you get so much pressure, like whenever you're finishing up high school, like everyone's like, what are you gonna do with your life? Or like, what are your plans? Or where are you gonna go to school and all that shit? And I'm like, I was stuck at the crossroads and I was like, I was also really like cooking because I was working at this place, Shagger Jacks, and I found a mentor there, this guy, Sean McCaffrey. He was a great chef. He was a chef on a Navy ship.
Wow.
So
That
like,
seems epic.
yeah,
That's a
so
Steven Seagal movie. That's sick. I
it's
can't remember
it.
the. Yeah, dude.
What is it? Do you know what it's called?
I want to say Under Siege. I might be wrong.
Okay.
There's
Okay.
one
Yeah.
where he's a chef and he's really good with knives, and then like the Navy ship gets like people on board, and then he's just murking people. He's like the
Oh
chef
shit.
that's like setting up traps and shit. It's pretty intense.
Okay. I have to see that.
Not to
Let me up.
derail you though, but
Huh?
not to derail you with what you're
No,
talking
you're
about,
fine.
but
So,
dude,
so
do you
that
have
probably gave you a little bit of an idea too. Like, so he's cooking like for 5,000 crew members. So he
wow.
ran it like a ship, the restaurant in a sense, literally, like the expression, he like ran it like a ship.
Yeah.
So like he was very good at what he did. He was fast and he was effective and he was efficient. So they gave me the interest in cooking, but then also had the interest in broadcasting. But so I was like, well, if I get into cooking, I'm not going to become a starving artist. So I picked culinary arts instead of like, being like artistic with like broadcasting and stuff. So that's kind of
Yeah.
what crossed me into that. But
You won't be starving because you'll literally have food because you'll be cooking.
everywhere,
You just
right.
eat. Yeah.
It's so expensive there though at Johnson Wells. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So like it really when I was going it was like I got a lot of like grants and scholarships, that kind of thing. But like
That's sick.
the actual tuition is as much as it costs to like go to Harvard.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can
Just
imagine.
it's stupid, you know. But
Yeah,
a lot
yeah.
of people older in life, they decide to go there to go to culinary school because they're like, oh, I'd like to, fine tune my craft and that kind of thing. And then I started getting older and I guess maybe a little wiser. And then you start understanding numbers a little bit better. Like when you're younger, like, and they're like, ooh, FAFSA, here's free money. So you think that it's free money and it's not free money. It's like now you're tied to student loans and like you don't really get that. You're like, oh, okay, sure, I'll just worry about that later. You're like in instant gratification, 100%. So
Yeah.
then I started getting a little older and like recounting some of the information I learned and kind of reviewing that and understanding because like my senior project, I did it on how to open up successful restaurants. And so like I had a passion, that was a goal of mine. I was really wanting to do that. But then you learn that the profit margin on average in a restaurant is 5%.
Yeah, yeah.
So like really you got to put in so much time and so much energy and sacrifice so much all your holidays, free time and a lot of fun in life in order to like push yourself to be a servant. Like you have to surrender and decide that you want to be like a public servant, that you're pledging your life to a life of service kind of thing. And I was like, am I really wanting to do this right now? And I'm just not, I didn't want to.
Yeah, yeah. Fair enough.
So yeah, I worked in a bar.
Sometimes like people will just cook. Like I love cooking, but I don't know if I'd want to make it my job, you know? Like I love cooking almost every day, but I like cooking what I want to cook and like how I
Yes.
want to cook it, you know?
And that's a good point too you make there because like what happens is whenever your passion sometimes turns into a thing that you're forced to do, you get burnt out on it. Like even to skaters, pro skaters, even to with professional baseball players, it's like this is a job now and I have to get paid and I have to show up there. And it kind of takes the fun out of it sometimes too. But I think that's what's different about skating though, because there's so much like independent creativity that you can kind of add into it. Where I guess you like could with cooking, but like with like baseball, it's like this is how you're supposed to play,
Yeah, it's more organized.
it's more
Yeah.
organized. Yeah.
Yeah, I tried to or like so growing up, I was fortunate and unfortunate. Like crazy upbringing, but it helped me find skating. And when I found skating, I was like so obsessed with it that I was like, I want to figure out how to I wanted to do it all the time. So that was my
Yeah.
whole thing. It was like this is therapy basically. It's helping me the more I
Right.
skate. And I was like trying to push it and stuff and get better and better and all that stuff and like just see how far you can take it personally. So it takes like you got to fully obsessed over that thing. And then like as I got older, I was like, dude, skateboarding is hurting me on some level. Like I'm just
Right.
getting like it's hurting me and destroying me. So I was like, I'm abusing skateboarding almost because I'm like just doing it too much, you know?
Right.
You hit that like point where you're like, all right, this is like becoming self-destructive on some level. So then I was like, well, I need to figure out ways to still do it or be involved with it or something, you know? So hence the
Right.
YouTube channel. I was like, I'll just film and edit because I love filming and I like editing and like it's cool to be filmed and be in an edit, you know?
Right.
So and then like the podcasting, I was like, I can talk about skating and meet skaters and talk about
Yeah.
skating, you know? And like it's all little ways to kind of like keep me involved, but also distract me from the physical act of skating all the time.
Right.
It's like becomes like it can become addicting too, especially if you live. I live near this like huge indoor park, and there's like tons of skateboarders, and
Fun.
people are always doing something. You just get pulled in, you know?
Yeah, and I think that's super cool. Like too where there's other levels that you could be involved with it, like from like even cameraman, that kind of thing. You'll see like some of the best cameramen are also very good skaters too.
Oh yeah,
They have
dude.
to be.
Yeah.
You know?
There's
And
always there's like you get the flow team, you get the amateurs, you got the pros, you got a filmer, you got an artist, You got like you can get a gathering of people. It always and you need a crowd like as much as you want to put on a show. Like people got to be hanging out, you know. Skate parks are always fun when there's tons of people there.
I think it's super cool too that they're starting to like, which I just may have started noticing this, but like filmer type wheels that they're putting out, so like it's like a softer wheel, to where it's like, oh, it's like they're actually like giving a little bit of credit to like the like this is for the camera guy. Like here's
Yeah.
wheels that kind of made for him,
Yeah,
you
like
know.
sponsor camera guy got a pro wheel. Sick.
Yeah, right. Get his own board. Like that'd be cool.
We did that.
Um,
We did a guest board for Dan McGrath. He filmed the first two All I Need videos, and we did a guest board for Dan, a guest filmer board.
that's cool.
Yeah, I'll have to show you the graphic. It's a
Yeah.
throwback.
Now, and to your point too that you're making there, I thought that was very interesting. Like something sometimes you love so much, doing it too much can then become destructive. And I feel like Tony Hawk kind of made that same point, like how he too, like just life of skateboarding, and it's like, yeah, I put my all into this. Now I'm kind of beat up right now at this point.
Yeah,
Like, but there's so much pressure too. It's like, yo, can you go ahead and do a 900 still or whatever, it's like
yeah.
it's stuck. It's like you're kind of stuck in a sense because this is now the person you became. And see also too with, let's say, even having a store, like what it does, or having any kind of business, and for yourself too, it's probably like, oh, like, yeah, you're the skate guy, right? You're the skate shop guy. So like now this is your identity.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy like learn it's a juggling act, but like you got to expand yourself to take on many roles in life. Otherwise, you lean on one thing too heavy, you know? And that
Yeah.
was partly what I did with skateboarding, but that's what like I was very fortunate. I got to travel the whole world and I worked my ass off though. I like never really like I couldn't be the cool guy because I just like I had like a sense of hustle and urgency about stuff, you know? So like I
You
went
from New
in it.
York.
What's that?
From New York though, right?
I'm from Massachusetts.
Massachusetts. Okay, but didn't you skate for Five Borough at one point?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I spent so much time in my life in New York because like
Yeah.
I rode for Fibro and then I rode for Zoo York and I would just go to New York all the time.
It's that hustler mentality from up north
We
too.
drove 4 hours. Me and Westgate would drive 4 hours to New York and skate all fucking day and like stack clips and with the RB and just like and then we drive 4 hours back. Or sometimes we'd stay for the weekend or whatever. Or sometimes we'd just take the train, you know, like
It's cool.
right into the city. Yeah, plus like the way I grew up too, like I lost my father when I was 12 and my mom had a substance abuse problem her whole life that she struggled with and I just like at 12 I was like shell shocked with my father and then that's when I found skating and when I found skating it started helping me like it pulled me out of the negative and had me focusing on skating so much and I was like able to process some of the feelings of like losing my dad and then watching my mom try to balance things out and have her issues, you know. And
Yeah.
skating just like I met so many cool people. I was always traveling. I was like getting to be creative and use that as like a way to get my aggression out and like
Yeah.
and also just to like pressure makes diamond type thing where you just
Yes.
like focus so much on a trick or like learning something that try to sharpen it as much as you can, you know?
Yes.
Um yeah, man. I don't know. I just fell in
Now,
love. I fell in love with skateboarding, but it's all consuming, and it's like as you get older, you need to like play different roles, and like, or you might even have the blessing and the ability to have like many roles in life, no matter what age you are, if you can recognize it. You know, that's like a really hard thing to know. You know.
yes, I agree. Now, too, I think too with those points you made there, of using skateboarding as a conduit for like therapy and transformation, I think is a really interesting point. And I think it's a kind of like a contrasting point too. Not only does skateboarding sometimes help isolate you in the right way, it brings you around other people. Because I'm sure too, when you're around like 12 years old, like shoot, you probably went out skating then too by yourself a lot of times. And this was your time to think and be in like your Zen state and then kind of meditate in a sense and be like, okay, like I'm by myself now. I'm comfortable with myself. all right, this is going on. Okay, how can I figure out like how to deal with this? And so like it gets you into that mode of just talking to yourself and talking through it too, I think.
That's it's funny because like I mean I'm sure other things are like this, but definitely skating like it's rad that you could do it by yourself. Like you could go outside and just work on a trick that you like envisioned and you're like I want to fucking backside flip today and figure it out, you know? And then you could just go outside and do that by yourself and have like an hour's worth of fun and be sweating, you know? And maybe
Now,
getting some aggression out or just like or talking to yourself. I've definitely talked to myself a bunch and just kind of like learn to control your emotions, you know? A lot of that is like when you're trying to land a trick and do something that's like beyond you a little bit, but you're trying to film a trick. That's why I love filming so much. Like working on a video part is like you're trying to get the tricks that are just beyond you or like you're just there or like
for
on
the
the right.
video.
Yeah, like you're pushing yourself. So you're like you kind of like challenging yourself. Like skating is rad like that. And then it's also complex enough that you can just hang out with people and like
Yeah,
have a crew and like just there's the whole dynamic
the
there
whole
too.
scene.
Yeah, man.
And so too, like I think that the pandemic kind of like drew a little awareness on that too, to where it's like, okay, cool. This is like it created a surge in skateboarding around that time of the height of the pandemic. Because people are like, all right, this is something I can go and do by myself, or you can kind of socially distance or whatever, and you could still like, you know, feel like you're safe. And
And you feel alive, like just learning
yeah,
to ride on a skateboard and balance and like be able to like be mobile. It's like you're already not just walking or just sitting. You're like engaged. It keeps
and
you
it's a
engaged.
workout.
Yeah, yeah, you're fully
Yeah,
because you can get hurt like if you don't know how to balance or to have like a
yeah.
good setup to push on a skateboard or to ride. Like you got to really pay attention. Like that's the beauty. So like in the pandemic, people just needed like to be pulled into a moment, and that's what it'll do if you focus on it, you know?
Right. And separate themselves from a different moment, you know.
Yeah. Oh,
Like,
totally, totally.
be like, oh, okay, the world's going to shit. Like, I think we may all die. Apocalypse now. Like, hmm. All right, I've always wanted to learn how to skate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's hard to focus on that doom and gloom so much if even if you're just having fun in a parking lot for an hour. Because like the
Yeah.
doom and gloom's always gonna be there. You know?
It will. Right. But like, hopefully, let's push it way back. Right.
Sometimes the doom and gloom leaves after that session because you're like, oh man, like I just feel better, and then you have
Things are
like a
okay now.
better
Those
look.
endorphins, dopamine, and stuff starts going. And I feel like too that it seemed like you and your team there did a great job, like just navigating through the pandemic on a workmanship level. And I know for a fact that had to be a juggling act.
Oh
Because like
yeah.
at first it was like, okay, well, now we're just gonna have to have the team in here working on boards. All right. Now we're even further into this. Okay, can the team really even come in here and work on the boards now? But we got to make sure we keep things running. Production's got to keep going. So then I'm sure like more was even tasked on you at that point too.
Oh yeah, man. But we've so you know, you do something long enough, you get through the ups and downs of things, you know, and like you
Right.
just learn and adapt, and like each time you get a little bit better, you know. Like it's funny, I started All I Need in the recession,
Oh,
you know.
just you really.
Yeah,
So
I
around
just
2008 or wait, not
exactly
okay.
like around then I started with the idea of it and we started working on the first video, which I like it was self-titled the All I Need video. I don't even know if it's online, but yeah, dude, I just paid for a bunch of DVDs and t-shirts and that's how we started All I Need. We just were like, let's do a video premiere and let's like just do this. And we sold all the t-shirts at the premiere, we sold all the DVDs and trans it was up on the Transworld site, which was sick.
That's
And
sweet.
yeah, and we just like that was like right around the time I like lost my sponsorship. So I just got a job and I had a little bit of money and I was like, I'm just gonna put it into All I Need, which is skateboarding. And then
So
that
was it
just
the
be
World Industry sponsorship?
yeah, I was riding for World and then the recession happened and they went through like a transition and they just had to cut their skate team. So then I was like, what am I gonna do? So then I just got a job at this warehouse in Taunton, Mass. It's called
Mhm.
ESP Solutions, and they do screen printing and embroidery and heat pressing and all types of stuff there. You know, promotional goods and
Okay.
just at the end of a belt, a heater, like catching other people's brands, like and doing like finishing and then shipping and like just
Yeah.
warehouse work, you know?
Well,
And
that
then
gave you a whole insight right there. Yeah.
yeah, dude. So then I was just doing that and then building the brand and skating and like taking on all the roles and trying to figure it out and build teams and like it's easy because I love filming and skating with people that like it's
Right.
keep the relationships going and like
Natural. Right.
yeah, and I like filming and editing, so we have like the YouTube channel and before that we just made team videos together, which is like the funnest thing in the world. And that
Yeah.
gets you to go travel cuz
Your
like
homies.
yeah, you just like it's the best thing ever. Skateboarding is the best thing ever.
Now,
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
oh no, no. So I was just gonna say, so like, really, what it sounds like to me is like your focus then too was like, all right, this is my passion and this is what I enjoy doing, and then a business just formed itself around it.
Yeah, out of necessity because like I was like I can't be the pro anymore, but like we have so many sick skaters around me and people
Yeah,
I love. I'm just like I love all these people. I skate with them all the time. Like I've seen them at all the events. Like I've watched them get better and better. Like we taught each other stuff through skating. Like just and I'm like we need to keep this going. Like this has been the best thing ever. Like video premieres are so fun. A team video when you put it together, turning someone pro, like watching people grow from like little groms up to like full adults living
yeah,
their life, but still skating and having that style and identity built up and like control. It's mad when I know so many people that skate and like any given day you see them destroy it, you know? And they're not
yeah.
even pro. They're not even pro, you know?
Right.
They might not even like I watch my one of my favorite skaters is Ramsey, Steven Ramsey, and he helped me out a lot in the beginning of All I Need. And he's just like at that time he was like overweight and like could
Yeah,
barely kickflip. But like I watched that dude destroy it, like kill it, like smashing curbs and just
that's
having
sick.
fun and landing. He was like my favorite skater because he was the funnest to skate with. And like
Yeah,
some days he wouldn't do shit, and other days he would just like have the most epic session and be
you're like,
this.
what?
Yeah, and he
It's
was
like
the
a
hype.
stark contrast. Yeah,
He was the
it's like,
hype, you know. So
yeah,
like I don't know. And then nowadays, I just watch tons of little kids skate, and they're just like so fucking good. It's like I just want to like throw. I want to help them out and throw gas on that fire. So it just like
yeah.
because they're like unbelievable at.
That feels good. You're like, well,
Yeah,
I had something, maybe a little bit of something to do with this, or you help guide them in the right way. But now, how does that feel though? Like us getting older and then like your skate friends and homies and shit getting families and having kids. Like, is that like, does that change that dynamic some? Or is
that's
it like,
that's what happened with Ramsey. Is he ended up having kids and like
yeah,
full time job. He's like working for the state, doing groundskeeping, and he had kids. He got a lady with a kid, and then he had two kids with her, and yeah, and he's the man though, but like he just had no time to skate, you know, because
right?
he had the blessing of a family and like he had work and like, but that was such a hard one because I'm like Ramsey's the funnest. I used to fly him on trips when I rode for World the
Yeah.
original time. I like flew him out to Tampa because he's just like the life of the party and he always shreds, you know. Like I think he went out to Cali with us too. It was like if I just bring him, Ramsey's gonna be like you always need that dude on the session. Like
Right.
you got
Keep
different
things
types
flat.
of skaters that are all rippers and that's why they're on the trip. And then you need that
Right.
dude that's like diffuses all that. He's just there because
The
he's
anomaly, the
yeah, he's
outlier,
just stoked to be there and he
the
has the
wild card, and he's
yeah.
happy and to be, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he just brings that energy where you're like, oh, it's just like not all intense. It's like mellows everything out, you know?
Right. We all need balance. One of my favorite things though too is whenever somebody comes into the store in like a suit and you could tell like they're a businessman or something like that, but like they haven't given up skating. You know,
Yeah, that's
it's
sick.
and it's sick because it's like just like that guy that he's got like some cubicle job or corporate job. And it's like he always wanted to be a rocker or something, and he's still doing it, you know? It's like,
Hell yeah.
but with this, with skateboarding, it's like it doesn't have to be serious, and on their free time they can go and have fun. Like you could still do it on the side and feel like maybe you're not missing out on a dream. Like maybe that rocker, he was like, damn it, I never made it.
Yeah, yeah.
Most skaters are like, yeah, I didn't think I was gonna really make it, I'm just having fun. Like,
Yeah, there's a lot of people that just enjoy it and not as a career or as like a thing, you know?
Yeah.
I'm a weird one because I just like it really helped me through all some crazy times. Like, and I know there's a lot of people like that, but I also like am always like growing up. I'm kind of been like overly optimistic, like in a
Hmm.
good way. But like I just like I don't know. That's the mentality I kind of had to have because like I dealt
Yeah.
with like a lot of crazy stuff. So I'd always be like, this is for a reason. Like there's something better. Like you have
There's
like when you're young and going through heavy stuff, you just kind of like you daydream of a silver lining until
yeah.
it's reality,
Well,
Until
that's it. And I feel
yeah,
like sometimes when it comes to people born in less fortunate circumstances, that it's actually it's a blessing and in a sense, because it's like, wow, it's so cold and dark and terrible, but like there's a light out there, and there's more, and there's a possibility, and it's that wish. And I just listened to Great Gatsby too, and
oh sick.
yeah, and I've like read the book too. So like I'm kind of like thinking about that a little bit, and like where he grew up in nothing, and then but he had this dream. And so it's about like seeing something out there that's better than yourself. And sometimes I feel like someone that's born with the silver spoon in their mouth, you get complacent, you get comfortable. You're like, okay, well, I'm comfy and this is cool. Like, do I really need anything more than this? Or don't even think of anything more than this because I got what I need.
Yeah,
You
there's pros to cons to either. Like the
Yeah.
grass is greener where you water it, because like when you're up, you're going down. When you're down, you're going up, hopefully, like it's harder to, like you you can learn to juggle, but then you got to keep it going too, or you drop
Yeah.
all the balls, like
And then where they may lose the focus off of you onto somebody else. So like got to keep things interesting. Now, so for you, did you skate for a shop and then you got picked up by Five Borough, or
yeah, yeah. Okay, we're gonna trade off questions. I'll answer this one and then we're going back to never ever.
okay?
Um,
I'm interviewing you now.
I like it though. I like it. Yeah, I when I found skating, I got really obsessed with it, and then my friend showed me all these magazines and videos, like 4-in-1 video magazines, which are so sick. Just so many epic videos where it's kind of like my vlogs. Like it's
Right.
just they just changed up the format all the time, and it was always fun and different people in it, and like it's just like a community of skaters that were creating content.
Yeah.
And all right, so I started skating and I just like fell in love with it. And my friend showed me all these videos and magazines, and then I was like, I want to be in these or like make these. So that was like
Yeah.
our goal is like to figure out how to emulate it or have our own thing. So I just focused on that, working on sponsor me tapes and stuff like that. And I met the shop Solstice skate shop
Right.
in New Bedford, and I would just go there all the time because I was like, this is the light. This is the light of skating because these are the dudes that like are doing it, and I
Yeah.
want to do it. And they were just like older than me, and they had a shop, and it was so sick. And my friend JV, he just like I would show him my sponsor me tapes, and then he got me linked up with Deluxe when Mickey Ray's was there, and like yeah. So then so like it was Solstice, and then he showed my sponsor me tapes to Deluxe, and then they started
Gotcha.
flowing me Thunder and Spitfire stuff, and that was kind of my way. And then I met Fibro because Fibro came to New Bedford and did a demo at Solstice, and I met Steve R, who owned Fibro, and he just like would get a van full of homies on the team and just do all these tours through New England and stuff. It was so sick. And then I ended up on those trips with him, and
That's
he would
cool.
so it all like went from a skate shop into sponsorship. And
Yeah.
I was like working really hard on my skating, and I always am the person who like I wanted to be good and like try to be pro. Like I
How
wasn't
old?
like trying to cool guy. I was like I had a sense of urgency, and I was like I want to do as many. I like dreamt of I mean, a lot of people are like think of video parts. I was focused on like having a sick video part because that was like the best thing in skating. It still is, I think. Like there's
Yeah.
video parts you just don't forget. You're like, damn, there's a mood and a song, and that person killed it at their utmost.
Yeah.
Like that's like something you can continue working on for years. That's why I wanted to be pro, because I just want to be able to like fly around with my friends, work on sick ass video parts, and put out these videos, and it would just be impactful. It was like that was the best thing.
How old were you when you went to Fiber?
So I started skating when I was like 13. I want to say like I started getting stuff from Fibro when I was like 16, 17.
Yeah, you
And
felt
that's
so cool.
yeah, dude, it was so cool. I was
Yeah,
like just stoked because these dudes love skating and were like doing like the whole like skate team thing, and they had art and they were making boards and like they had team videos, and
yeah.
they had a sick team, man. The team is so good. John Hoisington, Dan Pencil, Perry Morgan, um, Josh Moretti, Pat Gadotti, Steve Rodriguez, Mark Nardelli, Ty Feaster. There was such a big team, and they were just like a family. Like Fibro is a family. It's just like this mishmash of people. Like they're not, no one's the same on the team. They're all Susky, Aaron Susky, Westgate, Brandon Westgate. I grew up with, and like got him in. Like we got on Fibro together and rode for
That's
Birdhouse in New York together. Like he was my little brother. I love Brandon. Um, all right, I've answered your question.
okay.
Let's go back to the
Let's get
shop.
a part
Where
question.
how'd you get so tell me a little bit about starting a shop and opening it and all that.
Okay, so that does very good at like bringing us back full circle. So like what I was saying, like when I was working at that place, Peter Delight. So I would, basically I had this longboard I would just take to work every day. And I had a friend of mine, Jake Gallagher, that we were friends since we were really young. And we used to like, we skated together, we built ramps and stuff like that when, like knee high to a grasshopper. And so Jake was like my person that we would go back and forth on different ideas or different business ideas and that kind of thing. And I don't know, it was just one day it was just like right before I had to go into work, and I was just like just riding the longboard around the parking lot, and I was on the phone with him, and I seen that well, before I get to that, we were talking and we were just trying to figure out, like, he's trying to figure out about some business idea. We had started like a real estate type business together, but we noticed like he just wouldn't be able to put in as much time as me. So it wasn't gonna work out. So we backed off of that. And but we're still good friends. And we'd bounce back ideas. And I'm like, really, I was on the verge of wanting to create something bigger than myself. I just didn't know what yet. I knew like what I liked and kind of what I was passionate about, but I wasn't exactly sure. Now, what I did notice though, actually, is I noticed like paddleboarding was getting like super popular, and skateboarding was coming back. It's a cyclical thing too. It's like it kind of trades off. I feel like skateboarding through decades, like one decade it's killing it, and then it kind of drops off, and then it kind of comes back. And excuse me, as you've seen too, like 80s stuff came back, like mid 80s, and that didn't last long. Now it's 90s. So it's 90s and mid 90s. Like, I don't know. That's where we're at now, right? Um, but so we were talking, and
I think that's like a lot of like you got to water the seeds. Like you got to really like there's got to be the next generation, you know? So it goes ups and downs a lot, but I think like with the internet, I think we're able to like there's a lot of different crews and people like feeding off each other all over the place, which is amazing, you know?
and that's a good point. It's like a hive mind effect, but also maybe what it is like the kids of this generation too, that they're kind of like you look up to people and people that are older than you, and then you're like, well, that generation was really kind of cool. Like these people are cool. You feel cool because you're hanging out with the older kids, and you're like, what were they into?
Yeah.
They were into like some of the bigger pants, and like now you've probably even seen like that underground like punk rock style. I see that's coming into skateboarding now,
Oh,
right?
hell yeah.
The jagged kind of look, like Creatures doing a lot of that stuff, like to where it's just really like you could barely even tell what the writing is. Like I got a Spitfire sticker here. Let's see if I can find it. But to where like a lot of that 90s stuff is just making a comment. You see that?
Oh, hell yeah. That's
Like you
crazy.
can't even really see the writing, but it's like sick and it's kind of like edgy. So which with skateboarding too, and just like the apparel and stuff through that, it was funny because like even too when I was growing up, it was more so like everyone was trying to wear skate stuff too because like skateboarding was cool. And then, but now it seems like it's kind of taken, if it goes this direction, it's kind of embracing its own style. Like not everyone's gonna wear that. So it's a little more edgy. It's a little like, okay, well, we need to box ourselves into this category over here. Because skateboarding was always the thing where it's like the misfits, like the people that you just maybe like they don't get along with everybody, like, cut your hair, get a real job kind of thing or whatever. Like,
It's funny because you said you did stand up before, right?
yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, it's kind of the similar type of thing because it's like you don't want to be in a box. So, when you go and do stand up, you're like being unconventional and being funny and like going on a stage and like
A
skating,
weird
you're
guy.
like trying skate it. When you skate, it's like I use skating to get out of all those normal traps and boxes that are out there, Like I just leaned on skating for that. So,
That's true. That's a really good parallel there because it's true. Like it's like, okay, well, now I can, you know, form my own person, but also, not clamor into like society and the mainstream and be a part of that. Like you could still be a part of something, the community, and but still not like,
you can like have your own little thing you've been working on. Like everyone
right.
has their own style and approach and attitude and like
You're still
it's
uniquely you.
yeah, it's like the same with comedians. It's like you have your own take on something, So like in skating,
Yeah.
there's a million different styles, Like it's your life force, your energy you put into it causes the expression, Like in how
Yeah.
you feel and the whole thing, Back to the shop. Back to the
Okay.
shop.
So yeah, so like the thing is, I was thinking and I was like, okay, what am I gonna do here? Um, and I had started a couple other businesses. I've always been involved with different businesses from when I was really young. And so I had a little bit of experience like with building websites and that kind of thing. So there's a company that I had worked on at one point. It was called Zodu's. And it was with a friend of mine. His name was Tadesse. He was from Ethiopia, and he was actually
What was
adopted
his
in the
name?
United States. Tadesse, we went by Tad, but his
Nice.
legal name was like Tadesse Sullivan.
I've never heard that name. It sounds sick.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. So like he was like born in Ethiopia, and then he was adopted into the States by like he just won the lottery. He was adopted by like a president of a university in California.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, so like he's like, all right, like as a young kid, and so but he always wanted something bigger than himself too. So we had started working on this business together, and what it was, Zodu was his actual original name. And he had these coasters, like wooden coasters that were really light. And we had like a branding machine where we could brand different symbols on it. So we did some like weed coasters and stuff like that, like with the big weed leaf on it. And then we did some astrology coasters, like one for like Gemini, Capricorn, so all different kind of styles. And then
That's
whenever
sick.
bought like a coaster set, it would also pay for a meal for someone in Africa. So it's
Oh,
like that whole causal relationship. And so I built out that whole website. We got some sales, but it wasn't really like a raging success. And like I was very new into like the marketing world and stuff at that point. But in a sense, then like I also had created this blog called like Selectronics, and like it was like Select Electronics, and I wrote about different electronics. So like I guess I knew I had an ability to create websites and then also like write out some content, and not a terrible writer and that kind of thing. So I'm like, okay, well, I could do something involving this, and also want business. I also want to be passionate about it. So they say we're like, if you can find something where like three passions align, like you can find some success with that. So for
oh,
me,
that's cool to hear, man. I don't know. I think I've heard that before, but it's good to hear it again.
yeah, like I think that's how it goes. Maybe I just created that now. But
I'll
like,
take it.
yeah, it was something like so like three passions. So like one passion was, like skateboarding, paddleboarding, outdoor sports. Another one's like sales. Another one's like business. So if you have at least three there, you can get obsessed with it, you can really enjoy it. And something else too that I thought about was like I just came from a corporate job not too long before that, and I thought about how they have a 90-day probationary period for for working somewhere. And that's just as much for them as it is for you. You want to kind of see during that time, is this a good fit for me? But they want to see, are you a good fit for them? Are you going to be able to work out here where we're going to give you access to the treasure trove and like all the benefits or whatever? And so I took that and I said, hey, well, let me give this a good old college try and let me give it 90 days. And let me work actively at this for 90 days. And if I can make it work, I can make it work. If not, I can't. So I started at that point probably with close to nothing. And then what's so funny is like like a push super hard, and what's kind of funny is like both you and World Industries were like the only brands at that time that were willing to work with us.
Whoa, crazy.
Yeah, so I don't know if I've ever shared that with you. And I feel like that led to a lot of our success too, because instead, like, skate shops, a lot of times they're promoting what 150, 200 different brands all the time. And instead, like, we were focused pretty heavy on like promoting your brands because those are some of the only products we had at that time,
Yeah, hell yeah. That's
you
awesome.
know? And so it helped us like become pretty successful at selling World Industries products too, and your brand as well. And because at that time too, it was about 5 years ago, World Industries had dropped down, but then y'all were coming back. So it was just a perfect time because things were starting to launch off with you guys then as well. But there were so many people out there, to be honest, that didn't think World Industries was a company anymore. You
Oh,
know,
dude, I know. It's
no
insane.
idea.
It's insane.
Now a lot of people, it was insane. Like I was like, how do you not know? And then they're seeing these new decks and they're like, what? World Industries is still producing decks? Like they're still a company. I'm like, yeah, for sure. And they're pretty low production numbers and that kind of thing. And at that time, I think it was. So like we were able to sell them at like kind of almost on a limited basis, and it was limited for us because that's all we had, like, and whatever decks we had picked up from you guys. And then exactly 1 year to the date, from May 1st of 2018, because I looked at my memories on Facebook, May 1st of 2019. It was exactly 1 year to the date from when we started online to when we opened the retail store here.
What? That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, so didn't even plan it like that. It was funny whenever I put the LLC in for Never Ever boards around May of 2018. It takes a little time to file. We got our paperwork back and it officially became a business June 13th of 2018, which is my birthday.
Dang, that's
Yeah, so
crazy.
Never Ever boards and I share a birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
That's all. That's so sick.
Yeah, so I can't forget then. So it's like I feel like, when it comes to numbers and stuff, and you hear like 222 is angel numbers and like 1234 or 333 or whichever, I feel like there is an important significance to that. Um, and I feel like it I was meant to know like when it was and to
Yeah.
remember when it was. And that kind of like did life, universe, God, or whatever, they kind of made that possible.
Yeah, that's sick, man. That's like one of the big reasons I called my brand All I Need is to serve as that reminder, or like that like you won't forget your needs, like focus on
Yes.
those. So it's good to have those things in life to keep you on the compass on north.
Yes, and I think too, whenever I help spread the word of your brand, and when people come in the store, and many times whenever they see your brand in the store, their eyes go to it first, even if they don't recognize the brand yet. Sometimes, a lot of time, like most people do now at this point, but I'm like it's AIN, it stands for All I Need is Skateboarding, and I feel like that's a reminder for a lot of people too. So not
Yeah.
even for just you, but it's like people see that and they're like, you know what, really, like life kind of sucks sometimes, it's good other times, but really all I need is just like skateboard and kind of keep me going.
Yeah, dude, it's definitely the guiding light, dude. Skateboarding has been the guiding light in my life, and I know for fact lots of people, like a lot of my friends, and it's crazy because people hang on to skating even though like they're getting older and older, and they're just like still like people are still ripping at all ages. It's crazy to watch young kids just be so brave and like be driven and focused on like learning tricks and having fun and making friends, and then like it's crazy. I'm so grateful for where skateboarding's at. I feel like there's no gatekeepers anymore. It's just like fucking
Yeah.
wide open. I've seen so many different styles and expressions of humans that skateboard now. It's like insane. So crazy.
I feel like that's only really even changed in the last couple of years,
Yeah.
right? Like, before then there were some gatekeepers and there's a lot of ostracization in skateboarding even when I started about 5 years ago. And I feel like, and I don't think it really had much to do with like the Olympics and it entering more of a mainstream space. I think people are being less haters about a lot of different things.
It might be just the technology, the media, because now
Yeah.
everyone just the medium, because everyone just has a phone, so you can hear and see all these different versions of skating. Where before it was just videos and magazines. So like to create like a an industry or skating, it was just like you had to have the cameras and the the film and shoot the photos and get them in print, like. And then now it's like when the internet hit, it was kind of like everyone could put out their version of skating, and then it's like it's like now you see all these expressions as getting all this new data of all these different people and how they skate and their approach and their, and it's like that just opened it up. Like it's crazy what girls are doing, like as far as like stepping it up in the style and everything. It's like getting insanely awesome,
Just
dude.
Armando, I think she's super cool too.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. Kids are
But
ripping right now.
yeah, they are, and I feel like too, with what you're saying there, like I think that's very interesting because like what happened then probably before is with the being in the magazines and it feeling so outside of yourself, it became an idolization kind of thing, right? These are the gods, these are the greats, and just like people idolizing that and things that are falling outside of that box is not okay. It's not like representative of what skateboarding is. Because look, they're saying this is what skateboarding is supposed to be. And now with even the start of the pandemic, I feel like what that's done too is even changed the way in which people look at celebrities, right?
Oh
Because
yeah.
everybody can become a celebrity. I feel like some celebrities in Hollywood, in a sense, felt threatened with TikTok because now all of a sudden, like, oh wow, like everyone has access to millions of people as their audience that they never did. And to where it's like now I feel like so many people may be trying out things that they never would have because it's like, oh, I could maybe do that too. Like the opportunity is maybe there for me. Like because they see so many different versions of people doing that and they're like, okay, I see myself in that person. Um and
Yeah, it's like democratized everything because you can just like build your own thing. You can be an independent person without having to like go to an industry where you have to get approved by something or they have to
right,
accept you. It's like, no, I just built this up myself, and a lot of people love what I like and this works out well, like
have my niche.
yeah,
Right.
you just do what you do. I mean, that's but one of the keys to life is to try to like just be yourself and do the things that you enjoy and try to like be authentic, and it seems like
Right.
it's so crazy. The internet is so crazy. It's just a new lens, just like it's a crazy tool. That's what it
Yeah.
is. It's a
It
tool.
is, and used it is a tool when used correctly, and it's hard to not. or it's hard to not use it correctly. It's so easy to use it incorrectly because we have it in our hands all the time, you know?
And like we're just humans, like, and you're
Yeah,
growing, and like just managing your own body and mind is hard in an environment, like you're just like, and it's it's so one human life, all I need. I One human life is hard enough to manage, like it takes
yeah,
all your attention and like humility to manage your own life, so then to be connected to everybody or anything, all your vices and all the great and all the bad and the ugly, and like it's so crazy.
it is. And I
Yeah.
mean, I definitely want to disconnect so many times, but we can't. Like right now, in a sense, like being involved with the business, right, and marketing and that kind of thing, and showing face and trying to create like a public image and trying to build a brand and that kind of thing. Like though sometimes you just want to like disconnect and just be in the woods like for a few weeks, but then it's like, where is he at? And then you lose momentum because like the whole rat race, everyone else is still racing, you
Yeah.
know. But
I do a lot of like filming. Like I'll take time where I just go out and film a bunch and like capture a lot of content, and then I'll do like a wave where I'll just be editing and putting out stuff. And then I just try to take days off, like that whatever that movie is, End Games or whatever, where
yeah,
they get the internet and then they realize they just have to take a day off or two,
right.
Like I've gotten better about, because a lot of it too is like you're excited to do all this stuff,
Yeah,
like you want to do all this cool stuff and build all these things and like work with people, but it's like you can only go at a pace that you can manage. So it's like trying to learn that and figure out what you can manage, and like managing your time. I think we started out with that, like
yeah, we
trying to
did.
figure out how to manage your time properly. A human life is so complex, so it's like it's
And to
incredible.
delegate,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, and that you as a business person too, you understand that. And with what I'm involved with too, it is a struggle, right? So it's like, yeah, like it'd be great to be able to, like for me right now, to be able to fill my life with all the things I love to do, but also too, like right now there's a lot of stuff that I don't like to do, I have to do accounting, and like like if there's a customer issue you got to deal with it.
Oh yeah.
It's okay, like I mean, but things happen sometimes, fires you got to put out, but it's like what it falls down to is, or do you want to create a job, do you want to create a business, or do you want to enjoy the passion of the hobby that you've surrounded yourself with? And if you don't delegate it properly, like then you're trapped with having to wear all those hats and
Yeah.
not being able to decide which hats you actually want to wear. And then it makes you feel like, oh gosh, like like it's, you almost feel a little burnt.
Oh,
Like
totally, man. There's been times where, especially the longer you're in business, there's like, you just like run into that, You're just like, oh, dude, there's times where you crash and you burn out. You just can't, you're like got everything going and then just something happens. It's like,
yeah,
I mean, it's the same with life. It's just like
yes,
sometimes everything's going good and then other times it's just like mistakes pile up. That's a lot about just managing. It's definitely, you're right. It's hard to manage one life enough to like think clear and be clear all the time. And then we have our own vices, like drugs, like managing
yeah,
drugs is a fucking hard one in life to learn too, whether that drug's sugar,
yeah,
caffeine, or heavier stuff, or
yeah,
alcohol. Like there's so many different things. I'm not one of those people that are full like um, I like to smoke weed and drink coffee.
yeah.
Those are my two. And I'll have a beer here and there. But
Okay,
even just managing that is hard. And then trying to fit sobriety in there, you know? And
right.
then like and apply that to business and work and like it's the more complex and more many roles you play, you have to like learn how to manage each role and get better. It's like, it's just like life is like that.
And
How old are you now?
so I'm about to turn 30. Just
Damn,
say
sick. I'm
straight
40,
March.
dude. I'm 40.
So,
I
like, I mean, the thing is, where, so you got a decade on me, and I'm sure, like, in the last 10 years or so, you've probably added in a lot more routines.
Oh yeah, definitely
You say
routine.
that because I feel like that's such a time saver. Having those right routines in place. Like, okay, I wake up and I do this, make my coffee, whatever, like check the emails and like just doing the same things over and over again is good a lot of times too, because it makes it faster, more efficient, it becomes habitual.
It's nice
And
to know, it's nice to designate a time and go, no, this is the time I'm doing this every day. And it's like there's comfort in that.
there is.
That's why you go 9 to 5 because you're like, all right, that's the work day. So then you
Yes.
like see how much you can do in that time frame, you know?
And I've became so much more of a planner as I've gotten older, which always feels like lame. Like I'm like, oh my God, I gotta like because but like in a sense, like you're younger, it's like no plan, spontaneity. I'm just gonna go out and have fun. But then you realize as you get older, it's like time is such a currency then. And you're like, okay, well, these days are going by faster and faster. So I gotta figure out something to just get it more managed a little bit better. So
No, yeah, for sure. That's
yeah,
a Oh, and going back to the internet thing too, it's like it's a privilege to have the internet, like so as crazy as the world gets, just remember that it's like we still have the internet. This is
yeah,
like this we have the ability to complain to anyone in the world or
that is
be an asshole to anyone in the world.
yeah.
The
And I
internet
mean,
is everything.
and you are literally right now sitting in Massachusetts, and I'm over here in Oak Island, North Carolina. And like, not only are we able to talk and hear each other, but I can see,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
it's nuts. Like 20 years ago, that wouldn't really. Well, yeah, I guess we had Skype. Remember Skype calls?
I do. I do. Yeah, it's so crazy to like live through the transition of
It
all
was
this.
such so cool though when that came out. You're like, wait, I can like video call someone for free? Like,
Oh, I remember phone long distance calls were like
yeah,
cost so much on the landline. You're like, did you have to
okay.
pay
We're
extra?
not talking then, I guess.
Yeah,
Or like
nowadays.
you have to wait until, oh man, I don't have my after nines yet or after fives or whatever. Remember, like it was like it's free after seven, and then they created this like singular cult, like like it was singular and then AT&T
Oh
because it was like
yeah.
oh singular to singular could talk to each other, and it's like oh okay, so are you on the singular plan or like you had your top five or something like that, and it's like. I know like if that was a thing now with Facebook or something, like that would end like relationships and friendship. Like, what are you saying? I'm not in your top five. Like, I can't even believe that was the thing at one point.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like where we like literally like created like that like a class system. But it seems like that's what's happening with social media now, right? Like with Facebook, they're gonna start charging for like verification checks. Twitter's already started charging $8 a person. You could pay for Snapchat Plus now. So it's like categorizing different levels on these apps. So like it's almost like a class system in a sense, I feel like.
Yeah, man. It's like
Gotta pay to play.
yeah, it's kind of like I heard someone say it recently. They're like it gets regulated. It's the Wild West at first, and then they have to come in and regulate it. The problem is if it's like if we're going politics and all that stuff, it's like one side can just like impose whatever their politic is on the whole globe. It's like
Yeah, and now it's
that's
like this like it's a country at that point. Like they say like Facebook is like the world's biggest country.
yeah, which
It's
is
and
crazy.
it is. And like so they can implement this just change across billions of people. And to your point that you were talking to, there's a movie I heard too recently where you brought it up where it's like at first it was like free enterprise. It's like free articles and all this information is completely free for like people to kind of get a taste for it. And then they're like, oh, okay, we're going to start implementing these paywalls. Like at first, it was like, oh, I'm going to cut the cord. I'm going to cut the cable because Netflix is like $6. But now it's like, okay, I got 18 streaming services and I'm paying $100.
It's insane.
Yeah.
You drown in the complexity of how many streaming channels there are.
It's full circle. And now we're watching commercials again.
Oh, that pisses me off.
You know?
You have to like zone
It's
out. You're like, they're not gonna get me this time.
yeah. I got to get back to the TiVo, and I just like can fast forward
I
through it.
think we borrow like one of the streaming services. Like we got the password from like my lady's friend. So like
Yeah.
whatever her life is, I see the commercials. They're
Oh,
trying to pitch to her.
that's funny.
She was like getting married, so there's always wedding commercials and
It's like
like
you're not targeting me. Like,
yeah,
I'm
clearly
talking
not.
about- you're the
Yeah.
wrong person here.
Like I know her by the ads they're
Yeah,
serving us.
exactly.
Dude.
Like you show up to the party and you get her this gift and she's like, "Oh my God, how did you know? You know me so well." Yeah, yeah, no
You've
problem.
been looking up diamonds on the fucking TV
Right.
for yeah, it's a weird
That's
weird
great.
connection.
That's funny.
I feel
I
like
don't
it's like
know.
I don't really know where everything's gonna go, but like it's always been adapt or die. Like with all this
Yeah.
technology shit, it's like try to figure out where it's going and go with it, for the most part. But we're in a strange time. It's gonna get weirder in the future,
It's
faster.
it's a questionable, kind of concerning bit of a time. I'm not like scared for what's to come. I'm kind of excited, but I don't know. I feel like we all had that thought too when we were younger. Like, oh, okay, like we don't want the world to like end or like apocalypse time or like a Walking Dead, but you're like, you know what? I could set up a real cool zombie fort and I could have a blast. This would be fucking sick. And then it literally happened, kind of in a sense. There's like, wait, lockdown? All the streets are shut down, all the stores are shut down. Like, what is going on? Like, we were literally in like what felt like a movie. Like, I felt like I was living in a movie. And then now the next big thing is AI,
Yeah.
which is just like kind of in a sense, like I was like, oh, okay, AI, whatever. It's gonna start showing up like for like chats and stuff, and you got these bots online. AI is like going everywhere now. Like they're creating videos with AI. They're
Yeah.
creating music with AI. There's pictures online. You can't even trust some of the pictures you're seeing because it's made off of artificial intelligence.
And it's only gonna get like more immersive, like more.
Sentient now,
Yeah.
right? Like
It's that's when
smart.
you really need to have your like own experience in life, so you have your own morals and judgment and try to like, and you got to expand yourself and you got to be rooted and grounded in real life so you can balance out that like that artificial life, because if you just pay attention to all of it, it's just going to be like doom and gloom because that's what they want to pay you paying attention all the time. So it's
Right?
like
Consume, obey.
even during the pandemic, man, like I had so much free time to skate. It was awesome. We were skating outside because I didn't listen to that. Like I'm going outside. Like I don't
Yeah,
really
yeah,
care. I'm
exactly.
not really paying attention that much to what you're telling me for advice as far as like it wasn't like there yet. Even the mask thing, I kind of rebelled a little bit in like I just like it's in me. I'm like I don't know if I just swallow everything
I don't
wholesale.
believe this. Right, exactly.
Yeah, like I didn't grow up in like I always worried about the bottom falling out, like I know how life can be and people can be, like the
Right,
good, the bad, and the ugly. It's in all of us. So it's like, and you shouldn't just blindly trust people just because they're in charge, It's like, you
right.
should definitely question some things, like,
And that's like back to skateboarding. Like that's the essence of a skateboarder. I feel like a lot of times too is like rebelling against the grain, but also questioning authority always.
you
You
want to
know?
test it for yourself because it's like
Yeah.
people tell you can't do shit all the time, and you're like, I just did it. What the fuck do you
Right.
mean I can't do it? I just had a blast. Like, don't skate
Yeah.
over there. I just skated over there. Nothing bad happened. We had a blast. They kicked us out. We left, or they didn't even come. The hypothetical bad man didn't come. Like I don't know. There's just like society puts rules
Sure.
on you that like make you miss out on life just because you follow all the rules and signs. I think that was a song, signs, signs, everywhere, sign.
Yes, that's
Like, dude, they fucking society will just put that pressure on you, especially when you're growing and learning. And dude, if you just listen to everything everyone ever told you and never just figure it out for yourself, like you're just gonna live someone else's idea of life.
that's right.
Like yeah, and there's
And
a
like
lot of that went on though. It was like some sheep mentality in people, like, cause, and I mean, I can't blame people that are scared or whatever, but like at the same time, it's like, well, then disconnect a little bit and like go put your feet in grass,
And I feel like what's
unplug a little bit.
yeah, just a little, just chill, like and I feel like what's like the school system, it's like that indoctrination, for creating turning people into employees, and I feel like a lot of people that skateboard and a lot of people that skateboard even at a professional level, that they're not really your average Joe. Like even on the intelligence spectrum, it may be a little bit higher. Like even too, like we even think about like Rodney Mullen, like he could have been a scientist, like he could have been anything, could have been an engineer, which like I could see him definitely being some kind of engineer. He's so, eccentric and that kind of thing too. And it's like in order to question that, I feel like you have to have a little more sense sometimes. Not that the people that don't, just sometimes people are a little timid, but questioning things is the only way that you can grow and create something bigger than what already exists.
Yeah, man. And then, there's all different types of people. That's what I love about skateboarding is like everybody skateboards. So it's just like you see some of the most stupid people skateboarding. I've been one of the stupidest people skateboarding. And then you see some of the brightest people, like it's cool that
Yeah.
it's that like diverse that many people see that much value in actually picking up a skateboard, like that's so cool. And I definitely agree with you on the fact that like skating, especially if you're learning stuff and you're street skating and you explore with skating, it helps you understand terrain, environments, mapping.
Right.
I look at like ledges and stairs and architecture, and like you think about how you could use it, and then like you go out like street skating and filming a video part is basically going out into the cities and like it's like the Wild West. Like half the time people are just working their 9 to 5 and stuck in this rhythm of life. And we're out there trying to film a trick for our next video part. And we're like learning how to like deal with people and all these different
Yeah.
engagements that happen and learning how to negotiate and talk and get out of things. And sometimes there's sketchiness. Like I've been out skating in some fucking sketchy areas and you run into crazy type people and you got to learn to like
Street smart.
manage the situation and figure out how the one thing I love about street skating is like if you're out there to try to get tricks and like film a part, you everything works out pretty good usually because you just like that's the goal. When I was
Yeah.
younger though, I would argue with people a lot, like just out of like proving like, hey,
On
yeah,
the
like the whole
original.
thing I was saying, like, yeah, I can't skate here, I just did, I'm
Yeah,
leaving, but I already
exactly.
did.
What now?
Yeah, like what can you do, That was like a lot when I was little, and it's like that's just part of life. Like the people,
Yeah.
that's what I like about skating is it gets you to go out there and explore and figure out what life is. You're not
And
just sitting behind screens or listening to people tell you what to do and following instructions. You're like a beautiful mess sometimes.
that's right. And to see things differently, like you're saying, like, so like getting this totally unique perspective on different stair sets or whatever, and it's like it's now an obstacle, or and how did they build this, and like how can I do something maybe similar, so it really like puts you inside of it, and two, like like I feel like when you get older though, you recognize authority a little bit differently too, from a understanding of, wait, this person's the same age as me, and maybe they're just working a job. Like, so I mean, I see cops 1,000% differently. Not a thousand. Sometimes some cops are fucking shit and fuck 12, but like sometimes some cops are like cool and they skate too, maybe, or they're just doing what they were told to do, you
That's
know.
that's what like filming a trick, like I learned that because I was like I used to be out there just emotional, just therapy, trying to get a trick because I want to stack something, feel good about myself.
Yeah.
And like sometimes that doesn't work out. It ends in fucking you yelling and like getting into argument and fight. But I just learned at one point I was like, the best way to actually get the trick is just to come back. Like if someone's like really
Yeah.
uptight I'm not gonna argue with
You
them.
still ain't gonna get it then. If you are,
Yeah, I don't
then
want.
maybe it creates an issue, and then you can, and then you're not even in your right spirit to land it because now you're pissed off.
It
Like,
works many ways because some people need that antagonistic relationship or argument to force them to land the trick. Like, and I've had that moment
okay,
where I was like, I was trying a really hard trick on a spot, and then like I was close, but I was like blanking because I couldn't land it. And then someone come out, and it just gets a little. You get into an argument, and you're not willing to leave because you really want that trick, and then you landed the next one because you're like, yeah, I just needed that little like. I needed like some emotion, you know. It's like,
and something too. I was listening to this book, Mastery. You may want to check that out. It's a good book. But it talks about channeling different emotions in different ways. And something someone recently told me too that I thought was really interesting was about anxiety. But the emotion that I'm talking about is like, or the influx of adrenaline, from let's say getting into a fight or altercation with somebody, and then using that and channeling in other ways. Like they, like a lot of times when we look at things black or white, good or bad or whatever, but looking at it and saying, okay, like I'm anxious right now, like, all right, let me channel this or transfer that into excited energy. Let me take this aggression that I have right now and I'm gonna put that into energy. Like it's all different forms of energy. So like channeling that in the right way. Um,
yeah,
and
being like, because a lot of times your emotions will just, your animalistic side, your nature will just like, if you don't know yourself that well, it'll just get taken away. Like someone could say something to you, and if you don't have control of your emotions that day, and you just like your natural instinct comes out, it might be like some rude ass shit. So like
yeah,
to understand yourself well enough that you can like use that at whatever energy comes to your
right.
advantage is like a good. Yeah, that sounds awesome.
And like not gonna shut me down, right? So
Yeah.
like we can get so easy to get into like a shock type state, like because of like emotion. And that's something I'm really working on myself too, just being involved with business, temperament. Something that I noticed with when it comes to dealing with customers, no, I love customers, but dealing with some customers sometimes and that they're upset or there's a problem. And a lot of times in their head, the problem may be a lot bigger than what it actually is. But what I realized is a lot of times when there is an issue, it's because I'm not understanding how they really feel. And they don't feel like they're being understood. So a lot of problems when it comes down to is just a lack of understanding. Either them not understanding you, now you're pissed off, them not understand or you not understanding them. So even too, like let's say when it comes to I'm just gonna, I just need to get this trick, I need to get this clip or whatever, and then I'm gonna be out of here. And instead the kid, that's what he's thinking, but instead he says, fuck you, I'm gonna do this anyways. Well, that's not, received well. So instead it's like, yo, like here, let me show you these videos here. Like I want to get this clip, to make our full video. And like maybe now the guy understands. What was kind of cool is the assistant.
Or even if you just like don't return the hostile attitude and emotion,
Yeah,
you might they might kill him with kindness, you know? Like who knows? If you
that's
just
true.
cuz like a lot of people just return it, you know? You like mirror it, I think, cuz like it happens and then you just instinctually mirror that image, you know?
And it's
I've
so
done that with people that were aggressive towards me, but a lot of times I try not to because I just know I like my mom was the ups and downs, so I like trying to manage that. So I have a lot of empathy on that part. Is like sometimes
and
people are just lost in the woods and don't have control, and you should have control because you understand that, you know?
right,
That's a
exactly.
hard that's hard to learn too. It's a remind you need that reminding of that all the time.
Like hurt people kind of thing or whichever. And realizing, okay, they got their own struggle going on. Like, I'm not sure what it is. Then I'm sorry you're going through that. And just like for me, it's like taking a couple steps back and just trying to gain an understanding instead of assuming, asking questions,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and just let's open up this dialogue. So like what was cool is the assistant chief of police over there in Southport came over here, and because they were having problems with kids skating, and it was they didn't have any problem with it. They were getting calls and having to be called out from other people that were having issues with it. And so what he did, and I felt like that was really cool of him, and it was mature. He came in, he asked me, he said, "What should we do?" And I said, "You know what you should do is you shouldn't come off like the bad guy or telling the kids what you should not do, but you should come to them and tell them why you're there. A lot of people want to understand why. So like I'm here because this jackass over here keeps calling the cops or keeps calling us to come out here and they don't want you skating here. And then what I told them, I said, I suggested a few different spots I know of around downtown Southport that they could skate at. And I was like, tell them that they can go there, 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 and there. And now you're helping them. Now you don't look like the bad guy so much because you're not saying they can't do it. You're just saying you can't do it here because of this person, but like you could still do it, but just do it over there. And it's just like it's that's what it is. Problems happen from lack of understanding
Yeah.
and from not understanding how to approach it. Like, oh man, this is the sixth time we've been called out here. If these stupid kids won't quit skating,
Yeah.
like what they're thinking, well, but they're not thinking, well, why are they out there skating? Okay,
Yeah,
there's
totally.
nothing new of, and so it's just having that conversation, and I'm really, I'm happy with the way things are going with skateboarding, when it comes to creating that cohesive relationship between like the police department and skate parks and kids skating because that's new too. And that's been changing in the right direction. And there's still going to be a lot of kids that are like, fuck cops. And there's going to be a lot of cops that are dicks, and that happens. Like maybe he decided to be a cop because he wanted to be, Mr. Man on a power trip and the buck stops with me and I'm gonna tell everyone what to do. But
Yeah.
like a lot of times, it's somebody that's like, all right, well, I got to do a job. All right, I'll pick this one. Or maybe they want to serve and protect. Maybe they do like there's good cops out there where it's like, oh,
Yeah.
good,
I think like the majority of like people are well intentioned, you know?
Yeah,
But there are extremes and outliers and like people, that's life. Yeah, it's so funny. So funny when people want to censor life. It's like we have all these cameras and stuff and all these microphones and there's just gonna be new people and new young people are dumb because they're coming into not necessarily dumb but they're
yeah,
naive and they don't understand and young people come into a world that they didn't build, like you're into this whole complex thing and then your emotions are turned on. It's lights, camera, action, you're alive. Like figure it out, kid. And life has that certain element to it where it's like that's crazy thing about everybody trying to think we can just censor everything and make everything safe and there's no risk. Like I'm thankful I skateboard because skateboarding taught me about risk, self assessing risk. Because you want to do these things and then you have to toe that line and practice and work on it till you can get past that line, even if it's a
right.
little increment, like a progress. And you got to build it into your system, your muscle memory. You got to get your adrenaline used to things like skating handrails. I had to learn how to like control my emotions so I could like not be afraid enough to commit to this big ass handrail.
Yeah,
The first try is the most terrifying. You skate like a 20 stair rail, you just like committed. You have to commit on the first one, and working yourself up to that is like insane. But yeah, same with cops. It's like
yeah,
all types of people embody that job, So it's like it sucks when we just like get stuck in these. That's a problem with the internet. Like we had the internet come and it disrupted everything because it was a new medium that people could express themselves through, and everybody had it on them and have it on them. So like we're seeing all these reflections of life, everything,
yeah,
like the most cringe stuff,
yeah.
including yourself. So it's like it's everywhere. So
Now, do you feel like that's really welcomed a lot of clarity of thought for you too? With skateboarding,
it's
like
it's so double edged.
mindfulness, like because it's like, okay, I need to focus right now. So, and do you feel like just because that risk and that challenge there, you're like, it's kind of forced you to have better focus with everything?
Well, it definitely helps. It's definitely a good practice to have, like
Yeah.
being able to practice and focus and hold your attention on something until you can get it and then work on it and even get it better, like a lot of learning tricks is it's just like blood, sweat, tears, and your emotions, until you polish the turd till you get a diamond.
That's right. That's
That's
right.
life. That's life. Like if
It's
you can
life. Yeah.
if you can understand, that's the hard thing is like in my life and all life is like you want to control it as much as possible because it's scary not to have control. But it's really like a grabbing and letting go. It's like or people like are in the flow state or the balance or like when you're lost in a moment of something that brings you pleasure and you're just like life goes easy. But it's
Yep.
crazy because in life it's like there's growth. And to grow there's going to be pain, because you're going outside of what you know. You're going into the unknown when you grow. Because everything in your bubble you already know, and you just like
Yeah.
you can redefine that and sharpen it up and like make it how you want and control it so much. But like that's a lot of like lessons I learned from skating is like I can only have so much control and then I also have to
Right.
learn to go with the flow and like learn to balance and ride it out. I mean, I imagine that's what dance is because like dance you get lost in the rhythm of life and like you can
Life's a
explore
dance.
stuff. Yeah, any type of art where there's like you just like figure out the structure of it and then you can play with it. Like when someone practices the 10,000 hours with anything and then they master it and then you can just like start breaking your own rules or whatever rules and like
Right.
that's
And not
like the
being as rigid. And I feel like it's good to start with, like, let's say even with skateboarding, to start with that foundation, start with some kind of structure, like you're saying, and then just and then actually whenever you hit the next level, which is ironic and contrary to what you believe, but you have to surrender. So like in that book too that I was listening to, the mastery book, what it talks about is with any kind of skill you're trying to learn, that there's different plateaus. Like, so you get a lot better and then all of a sudden you plateau out. And a lot of times people quit then and then they drop off. But like if you decide, okay, I'm going to keep on doing this and eventually like I'm going to come out of this plateau. And if you keep on doing, you wind up finding comfort in that plateau because you're like, there's another level up. Okay, I'm here. And
yeah.
then, like you're saying about how like letting go and but also keeping your eye on the prize at the same time. Like sometimes, in order to create something that is like out of the box or unique or that doesn't follow all of society's rules, the only way to do that is to let go, to surrender. And like for me, having employees and actually managing real employees too for the first time, it's hard to let go, to surrender. But the only way that you can be successful is through delegation, like we were talking about before, and by letting go. Because if you're like, oh no, like I could do it better than them, and like one thing I had to work on when I was really young was I wouldn't ask for help from anybody. Now I'm starting to realize like that's dumb. Like there's so many people available and there's so many resources. You're hurting yourself by not doing that. And you're doing a disservice to everyone else because you can't create as good of a final product. So
Yeah.
like just like understanding like, oh right, I gotta let go and I gotta sacrifice, but then also keeping that vision intact at the same time.
Yeah, yeah, totally. And I believe that that plateau is rest time. Like when you
Yeah,
achieve something, you need that time to process everything because
nature's way.
yeah, because like you're in life when you're creating things, your own life, it's like you work so hard on it, and then it becomes like all you're doing is working on something. Even if you were having fun with it, like at some point, it's like it becomes routine, and you're like, all right, well, I have to break this routine, otherwise, I'm at this same thing. So you either have to expand yourself. A good thing that helps is if you stay inspired, like you have
Yeah,
rest and you listen to things and other people and like learn and constantly but those plateaus are good because you build the scaffolding, you get the
yeah.
plateau, and then you start
or
building
or
another
or
one.
taking a finding another winning product or taking a different path from that sometimes too, but having that greater understanding that you now can build off of and having that foundation, I think is
Yeah,
a
because like, so if you build that first foundation, you might have used like 100 ladders to do it, and then you
yeah,
got up there and you're like, I'm up here. I bet I can do this more efficiently. You build like maybe you use 5 ladders,
yes,
like you start to like utilize you learn and you grow. And if you can remember and pay attention, which is not the easiest thing to do, especially when the world wants to fall apart on your
yeah,
fucking phone or in reality, when all of a sudden people have masks everywhere and you're like, are we in a fucking Tom Cruise movie where the world's gonna end? Or am
yeah,
I Tom Cruise?
yeah, yeah.
No,
Well,
and then you're like, fuck, I was just trying to live my life.
right, yeah, exactly. And so I love that you brought that point up because the way in which like I kind of seen it before was when like things would slow down or not exactly go my way right after I had like roaring success with something and things were going crazy and it became overwhelming. I'm a little bit biblical too sometimes, and I think back to like passages of the Bible or scripture and stuff, and I started thinking about where like what it says that God will never give you more than you can handle. And so that's what I feel like. I feel like, okay, well, in a sense, God or the universe, whichever, is deciding, like, no, you're overwhelmed. You can't handle that. But maybe it's actually better. And that's a more positive way to look at it is say, no, I need the rest now and I'm at a plateau. All right, what do I do? Do I expand? Do I stay where I'm at right now because this is cool? Or do I shift into a new gear? Because
Yeah.
that may be that welcoming time that is just trying to get you to be like, all right, cool, like I got to figure out what am I going to do next, what's the next
Yeah.
chapter.
That totally makes 100% sense to me, man. And it's like in life, like this is why I've been learning a little bit about meditation, and I've been learning. I did the float tank, which is sensory deprivation tank, and
Wanted to
like,
do that so bad.
yeah. So like the benefit of that is like we have these gifts that like were given to us because we didn't, we have potential, we have gifts, we have things that could turn into great things. So like you're learning how to use your lights, your senses, your ideas, your thoughts. We have this crazy mind, we have this crazy body, we're in this crazy environment, and like, so you're just like turned on all the time. So you just become in that state of this being high anxiety and stress and worry, and like you're always turned on. So like you need to
Yeah,
turn the senses off so you can rest a little bit. Like I do the float tank, and you can't hear because you have earplugs in and you're in a quiet room. You
yeah,
can't see because you have your eyes, you're close your eyes, and you can't feel the gravity of the world because you're floating in salt for an hour. So like all your senses are off, and you're just forced to like kind of be in the unknown, the darkness, the space.
yeah,
Your brain can unravel, it can. You don't have to always be in thought, in like chasing thought. Like you, sometimes there's spaces in between thoughts that like it allows things to come into your life. We're receivers. I feel like we can think and put out thoughts, but we can also learn and take them in too,
so
And it's
yeah,
like life is so demanding and things, and you want to do so many things that you're just constantly, and it's so complex. So like to manage things in life these days is like you're constantly turned on. Imagine if you're like a parent too, if you have little kids in life, and like you're managing their life and trying to like run a family is like an insane thing, let alone a business. Like it requires a lot of thought. But like, dude, if you can like have that alone time where you can just unwind and let your brain go and just not think of anything, it allows you to process everything. So that's kind of like when you work really hard and get that plateau. Now you
yeah,
need to take all that information that you use to get up there and let it sink in, and like
you're right.
like sink in, and like give yourself time to just be open and let it float away. And then you'll take like what you learn from that, and then you'll be able to do it more efficiently. That's what I learned from skating, is like
Right,
you get that first one, and whenever I see like a kid or someone land their first trick, I'm like, yo, that was a good first one. Like,
yeah,
hell yeah, it takes one. Like, you get one, now you can just keep going, because the first
right,
one's not always clean. It's like sloppy,
yeah,
ugly. It's not what you imagined. It's just it's just the fucking thing. You did it, but it's not like the best.
we can count this one, right?
Yeah, so like, but then like if you keep dreaming about that trick, or you saw someone do it a certain way and you just want to polish that thing up, it's like you got to keep going. You got to rest a little bit, get that win, be happy, and then maybe take a day or two and come back and get another session like that at it. And then it usually gets better, man. It usually gets
Yeah.
cleaner. It gets like it's
And
like a
visualization, I think, is so important.
yeah, definitely. You
You know,
got to
like
be inspired. You got to like be thinking about things that you that's why it helps if you follow the things that pull you in, that hold your attention, because that's probably what you should pay attention to for the most part. If it's not hurting yourself or anyone.
it's calling you. It's like
Yeah.
you're calling, kind of thing. It's speaking to you, and there's a reason why it is. And like you said, like it's matching your talent, your ability, and your gifts with something in the universe or whichever that is like this may be something that you're meant to do, like a
Yeah.
destiny kind of thing.
Yeah,
And
I feel like we all have a role or service or like a destiny, like a destiny.
yep,
Like especially if you the beauty is if you like is if you can understand yourself so that you can like harness it and then you can like aim at things, to have like that control is like a beautiful thing. It's hard to always have that, but
right. Which
yeah.
you get it all the time, like the Limitless pill,
Yeah.
Limitless movie or whatever, where it's like you have everything firing just the right way, and then you can like harness everything you've ever learned or everything you've ever seen and everything you've ever done and then implement it and channel it. And I think that we're not capable of doing that because that would be running life on easy. You'd be running life on cheat codes.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
like, would you really appreciate it? Right. So like having that struggle in the steps of life, and those different pillars and those different plateaus, it allows you to appreciate it. Like I didn't just get there. Daddy didn't just have all that money and buy me that nice car. Like I worked for that car. That car is mine. I worked for this. I worked for that, and then you feel like the time invested and your investment, it feels like it was earned.
Yeah, like
It's
time
like
well spent.
time well spent. Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Totally, man.
Now, to that other point that you were bringing up before about just with skateboarding too, with how now old school and new school has now met in a sense, and because like old school skaters and then people starting out, and I feel like, and I know it's kind of like a little random, but I was just thinking about it from before that, because like let's say generations before it was like the dad was saying, okay, you shouldn't be skating, you need to focus on this. But now the skaters are getting older, they're now dads and they now have kids. And so I feel like that's what's really kind of connected things there to where like there's not as many gatekeepers and stuff too, because it's like there's two different, pretty diverse worlds with skateboarding.
Yeah.
Um,
It's amazing that skateboarders have found that they're willing to just like they're not so gatekeeper or jockey. They're just like, yeah, dude. They recognize that hey, that person loves the same thing I do,
yes,
and I shouldn't be such a dick because I think it's just mine, that I can just let those people live too. Like I learned that through being at like teaching skateboard lessons and going to a skate park like the Edge. And in the
yeah,
winters, you just like you see all different people come and you're like, yeah, I don't like that style. I wouldn't dress that way. Like
yeah,
sometimes these people are dicks. Oh wait, sometimes I'm a dick. And it's
yeah,
like you're just like yeah, that's half the reason I loved skateboarding was like I had like emotional issues as a child, and skateboarding was like inviting enough to let me just like they gave me enough space to work through my issues, and I
right,
do that I met tons of awesome people that I was like, yeah, these people are cool, these are my friends, like I see them all the time, like, and they all love skateboarding. It's like it's crazy to watch that go from it's cool to see grandpa skating. Like some of my favorite skaters
yeah,
are in their 50s, 60s, and it's like that's amazing. And they got hip pads on and helmets and fucking they got their own style and
yeah,
like again, I don't like all of it. It's like fine to have your own opinion. Like that's fucking there's humor in all things. Like
right,
I always joke about that cuz I'm like I talk shit sometimes because it's a sport and it's fun and it's like
Having
some people
fun.
talk shit on me. Like I get it all the time. Like I'm Nicolas Cage, bro. People tell me I look like Nicolas Cage. I get it.
That's
You got to
funny.
be able to like laugh at yourself. But it's cool that skateboarding has that humility to like to that level. Like people are just like, yeah, just let people live. My friend actually, I went on a skate trip a long time ago. His name's Warren. He used to say that because we would be talking shit and he'd be like, he would always be like, what would he say? He'd be like, let him in the club, bro. He's in the club. Like, even if it was like some crazy looking
Like you
dude,
can
you're like, I don't
come, right?
agree. I don't agree with anything. He's in the club, bro. I was like, all right, I'll let him live. Let him live.
Oh, that's great though. That's cool. And like kept you balanced probably and like
Oh
centered you.
yeah.
And you're like, you're right though. He's also a person, he's human too. Like he,
Yeah.
you know, you find like with skateboarding, you find your people too. Like within that, like you said, there's so many different people, but it's like also like a community, you know, multiple communities within a community. And so too, I was thinking about like just like about like let's say like your first day at camp, you know, and even too, I have a friend, she's just went into basic training, and I spoke with her dad today, and she likes to skate and stuff, and she used to work for me, but she's not getting along with anybody, and so she hasn't really found her people there. But like what happens though with anything new, like well, like I feel like our persona is kind of similar with that. And you know, I grew up kind of a little like tough and guarded, you know, so like it's like entering that scene or entering that space or entering into like what she's doing with basics. It's almost like you're in jail in a sense. You're wanting to be accepted, but at the same time you're putting off this tough exterior because you don't want someone to hurt you, you
Yeah.
know. And so like I feel like that's what happens with even people getting sometimes into the skate scene or even coming into the store, even like they feel like the same way as if they walked into a tattoo shop. Like, I don't know if I'm accepted here. I'm not like these people exactly. But then getting further into it, you're like, wait, there's actually people that are like me. Like, we do share this one common interest, but also we share these other interests too. And you know, so like when it comes to anybody that comes in here, like into the store, I try to treat them as if they're just a cool person. And like maybe they want to get into skating, whatever level you want to get into skating. Though at this, what I do, I feel like is a little bit different maybe than your standard shop. I'm not going to force skateboarding on anybody. You know, you want to come in and you want to skate, like sure, I'm going to help set you up and I'm going to set you up the right way. But if I start talking to you and it sounds like you actually want a longboard or you want to cruise and you don't really feel like doing tricks or you want to freestyle dance, but you may not think that's the coolest thing to say, like I'm going to try to find that out because it's not about what like society wants or what everyone else around you wants. It's like, what are you really going to enjoy doing? And I think that's important. Like, because instead of someone buying like a skateboard and because it's cool and then not really even using it or, you know, giving it up pretty quickly, well, maybe they get into cruising or longboarding. It's still a board. And maybe then they decide, okay, I've learned some balance. Let me look into skateboarding now again. Um, so I feel like there's multiple ways to get into skateboarding. And I wouldn't say there's any real right way.
And I think that's smart in a business standpoint because, like you said, like the skateboarding industry, there's ups and downs in all things. It's not like the biggest industry. Although every type of person skates, doesn't mean everybody skates. You know,
Right.
like the industry is pretty small comparatively to other things. You know, that's why there was the whole riff when like the corporate shoe companies were coming in, and there was
Yeah.
shoe companies, and like that was for a reason, you know, because they're like, yeah, we're going to let these mainstream like huge corporations into our world and then we lend our legitimacy to them, you know,
Yes.
and then they'll just monopolize the business side of it, which affected skate shops because skate shops, when those corporate brands were doing it just in the shops, it helped the shops make money, and then when it opens up, then it's like all right, well, now I'm competing with all these box stores, like big
Yeah.
box stores and whatnot. So that side exists for sure, and yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, but
No, but that's a very great point you made there, though, because like it was
oh
just about the
yeah,
change of the industry.
yeah. It's like it's smart in a business move. Like that's what I was saying when the shoe companies were having a hard time. It was like I don't necessarily think this is like a thing they should have to do because they could just stay making skate shoes, Or you
Yeah,
could try something, make a different shoe, which a lot of brands did. They made like a casual like type of shoe that wasn't just a skate shoe,
right.
which is like a tough thing to adapt, but like if you're into shoes, then all people wear shoes. So it's the same in like business. If you have a retail store, you sell skateboards, people like to roll on all things.
Yeah.
The scooter thing, like that one
Uh,
kills me a little bit because people will just push scootering to like I've seen people like abuse the whole scooter thing, and it's like that also gets bummer too because they get to a certain age and then they like eat each other down because the learning curve's not hard enough with scooters. They have to
yeah.
go upside down and do 1080s. That's kind of what happened with rollerblading too. Was like
Right, you're right.
the learning curve wasn't steep enough that people were doing too many misties and backflips, and then it's like they're young and then there's like you have to like that was my whole thing is I love skateboarding is like it can get super simple and be so
Yeah.
awesome to watch and like you're not holding on so like it's like there's a something hard about not having to hold on like
Yeah. And it just looks so much cooler.
yeah, it's like you can have you're not holding on, so you have your full body, and everyone has a different style and moves in a different way. And it's like that to me is so amazing. Not to knock anything else, because like if you find something that gets you through your day, especially if you're having a bad day and that thing pulls you out of it, I don't care if it's a scooter, rollerblade, fucking pogo stick,
Yeah.
hacky sack, like whatever you.
Yu-Gi-Oh cards,
Yeah,
whatever.
life is bigger than all of this. But yeah,
Now,
but as a business, as a shop owner, like there's some shops that just die on that hill. They're so skateboarders, and I'm like, I totally get that. Those are some of my favorite shops. But I've also seen other shops that they skateboard, they love snowboarding, they're into other things, and then they can incorporate that in their business. And it's like, then when things aren't going good in the skate industry, they can have supplemental cash or like keep the business open. Like I've seen a lot of shops go out of business too.
and it's also about focusing on too. That was one of the big things for me starting with the business. It's not about what I want. It's not exactly about what I want. Oh fuck, I love that shirt. Oh fuck, that's deck sick as fuck. Like I want that. Like nah, it's about what the people want.
Yeah.
And like to in order to be successful, I feel like on a business side, it's to separate yourself from it a little bit and then also try to embrace that and like attach yourself as a human element, maybe align yourself with it. That helps too. But like separating yourself and saying, hey, no, what do the people want?
Yeah.
Sure you need to supplement yourself with different categories, but too, like let's say about
For
different,
for me, it's like having a sales rep helps me because
yeah,
like I'm so in love with skateboarding. Like of course I'm gonna
yeah.
say it's the best thing ever. But having Conrad he has all the flavors and meets all the people and he can kind of like figure it
Guide
out. Like yeah, so that
Yeah.
helps separate a little bit. It's cool to
So
have that
for
sometimes.
something that I feel like I've had a bit of I like it helps have a great rep. I think always does because they're on the hopefully on the cutting edge of what's going on. One of my like traits I feel like that I've had like I was kind of gifted with is like I've been very good at spotting trends and sometimes even setting some different trends and stuff too. But like since I was really young, like even at school, like I'd start different words or like different things that would take off and other people would do it. And I feel like that's what's helped me even too in like the apparel front and knowing what is cool and like what people are gonna like and what's coming up next. And I haven't been right every single time, but like I feel like I've been right enough with
Yeah.
some of those things. But like just like I don't know if you had like a rep for Rollies, like some Rolexes or something like yeah, he should know that better than anybody else.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like that does not happen very well in the skate industry with different reps. Conrad's great. He's a good rep. And I have a great rep there, Jacob, too, with NHS. And, the guy I got with Eastern, he's pretty cool. But like a lot of times, though, they may be so busy with other accounts, they're not giving us information about like, yo, did you know like he was Thrasher Skater of the Year and this was a limited release and you need to cop that because it's going to sell immediately. If I was a sales rep, I would do that to all my accounts probably because
Yeah.
it would raise my sales and I get higher commission. But it seems very limiting, and maybe it's because the industry is pretty casual a lot of times.
Yeah,
To
yeah.
where, it's just like, oh yeah, man, like, okay, I'm sure you got that order in, cool, and there's a conversation if there's a problem like they don't have like they have employee days and stuff for like their employees that work at the distributors and stuff. They don't ever have like shop days.
Yeah.
Like we're shopped, like people from different shops could meet up and then we could bounce back off ideas. But like that would be great, and now actually NHS, they're looking into, we did a survey the other day and they're looking into different ways that they could help improve things for the shop. And they asked me kind of like what would be helpful, and I said like market insights would be great.
Yeah, yeah.
What's coming up? Like, what are people looking for? The next thing that's happened in skateboarding is the one of the main focuses I feel like that is becoming more popular, and it's kind of already started, is bigger boards and different shapes. The popsicle shape really isn't as popular anymore. It was the most popular, it's probably still the most popular shape, I feel like.
Well, I think it varies like region to region, like
Okay.
depending on where you go and like who's skating, depends on the history of the skating, like depends on who's skating in that area. It depends. It goes in and out too.
And
Like the styles, like things come, like you said in the beginning, it's like 80s, 90s. Then people go back and look backwards into different generations, and then that becomes popular.
yep.
It's like, yeah, yeah, that's like as a shop owner, I could see that being a challenge. Like for me as a brand owner, I'm like I know the version of skating I like, so that's what
Yeah.
I put as output. It's like video parts.
Right.
I like vlogs, I like podcasting. I know the people I skate with. But asking and getting that feedback is like good to hear too. And then
Yeah.
like it just depends. It moves. It
And things
fucking
with moving
moves.
so quick. And
Yeah.
it's like, buddy, I got a whole store of what was popular last week. Now
Yeah,
you
yeah.
tell me it's not as popular, that kind of thing. Which, it's fine. Like ebbs and flows. Like you said, you got to work with it. You got to, plug away. You got to find what's that next winning product kind of thing. Now, two, along your point that you were talking about, big industry coming into the skate industry being a smaller
Hold on.
industry.
Remember your thought real quick, but I just want to ask you something. Do you have there's a skate park near you now, right?
Yes.
That's awesome. All right, we're going to touch on that, but continue your thought. We'll go back to the skate
Okay.
park after.
So the influx of big industry into small industry and skateboard industry not being very big. Like I feel like we all want to have that abundance mentality, but it's like, is that being taken away with things like the Olympics? With them creating it, making it more mainstream, is that actually taking away from it? Is it taking away from the smaller shops? These big investment groups that are now starting to buy out different distributorships, and distributors and stuff too, selling their product, undercutting the same shops they sell to. That affects things. But either ways, how do you feel about skate shop day?
I just love skate shops. So like I try to go to a skate shop when I
Yeah.
can, and I try to spend money there because I'm like we need this place. You know what I mean? Like to me,
Yeah.
dude, half of going to Solstice was like going there and Jay would just let me talk and vent and like try ideas out, and he would just like bounce. He kind of we do podcasts together before
Yeah.
like podcast was a thing. And it was partly because like I'm just an inquisitive kid, and I had a lot of crazy shit going on in my life, and I needed like an older person to talk to. So to me, like a skate shop is almost like a lot of them are like the ones that people like. the ones that last are like fucking somewhat like a church to me, you know, or like
Yeah.
a safe place to just go. Like you were saying, you let people in, you just try to like not they don't even have to skate. Like you just have a
Yeah.
shop, you have a store, and like you have people that come. And like I watched with Solstice, like so many skateboarders go there just to hang out, talk, and buy something. But it's like going to the shop and talking about skateboarding and talking about
Experience.
like videos and maybe just talking about how your day's going. Like it's almost like if I always dreamt like if I had a skate shop, it would be like I just do mini podcasts with people all day because I you
Yeah.
just get to talk to people that come in that are interested to the same thing that you're interested in, or at least like they're into your store and they like the store and what you start, you know, they're in there. So you just so like to me that's what a skate shop is, you know, and if you can go there and spend money and support it, like that's amazing. And there's
Yeah.
like but I don't know, I don't never really thought about it as far as like I'm not the Barracks. I'm not like Steve Barrett. I wasn't like I know he just tried to like do like a trade show. He did like trade show stuff and like the in try to like
Yeah.
have this industry thing. Like
Right.
that's not me. Like although like I've thought about doing like a market and having people meet up and like because it would just be cool to meet people and like it'd be
Right.
fun, you know. Like I don't think it would be like it might like I go to tons of markets too, which are amazing. I go with like the apparel and I meet all different types of people. The last one I met this chick who did Reiki and she was so cool. Actually, she gave me this doll.
Oh, oh, that's sick.
Or I bought this doll from her because her
That's cool.
she bought her kid a skateboard. And but I don't know, like to me that's always what a skate shop was. It was like a and I'm so obsessed with skating, so like I'm just speaking about that. Like skateboarding has held my attention for 25 plus years through the best and worst times. Like, and it's like endless. To me, skateboarding is endless, or everything about it seems endless. Like, I have the problem of obsessing too much. I need distractions, like I was saying. I need other things to expand myself, so I'm not just obsessing about like skating. You know.
Yeah.
Uh,
New skate shop day though. Have you
oh
heard of
yeah, explain.
that?
Explain it to me because I know it's like there's always something they try to do. Like people try to do that. They have like a day for everything, you know? Like there's some sort of
So,
day.
and it's you know, our regular American commercialism type dream, like kind of thing, right? Like everything's just so commercialized. Like it was like, oh, we can attach a holiday to it. We can, you know, influx some more money. But in a sense, it's going to be something that's good for shops, but also gives people a day to support. Now, I think it's still pretty early on. It's just a few years in. As far as I know, it's pretty new. Like they have a like comic book day where you can go to any comic book store and you get a free comic book. Like I'm
Comic books are
excited for that.
sick.
They're
Yeah.
sick. So like that was something that I felt like was similar to skate shop day. So, but you have like igloo coolers, you had anti-hero, they made Grimple sticks, some Tony Hawk special edition ones, a bunch of different things that were released along with skate shop day through deluxe specifically for that day, numbered decks, limited runs, that kind of thing. And it was a day for people to come and support skate shops. So I thought that was kind of cool that they did that. But now big brands wanting to be involved with that is that their way of kind of becoming a part of it. But skateboard's all about collaboration too, skateboarding. You know, I feel like on a level of creating videos and collaborating with your people and outsourcing things to make things happen and sending things off to get transfers and you know getting it pressed and all that, like there's so many moving parts to
Yeah.
make it possible. So like I don't know, like I guess hopefully things don't get overtaken in the wrong way, but if you know a collab in the right way with good publicity and pushing things into the mainstream heavy and like a lot of marketing could be a good thing. That's why I'm really stuck between thinking that the Olympics is a great thing for skateboarding, but also thinking it's not. Like I'm not really decided on that. I'm kind of in the middle with that.
That's like my Nija conundrum. Is like
Yeah,
Nija is like so good at skateboarding. He's like unbelievable. Undeniably amazing at skateboarding.
you
Right?
can't.
I
Yeah,
know. But on the same side, it's like I would never want to be Nija. Like I'm
no.
happy he's Nija. Because my version of skateboarding is not to like be in contests and be like a celebrity or whatever. Because like, sure, I'd like to be well known and like respected and whatnot, you know, like who
Right.
doesn't? But I also got into skateboarding so I could like just manage myself and all the things thrown at me, almost as a not just an escape, but like just I don't know, like I didn't get into it to like I wanted to be pro and everything, but that was more just
Right.
because I wanted to have the people that love skating and like them see my passion and love for it too, and be like,
Right.
so like, and like, not just to me, like nothing on him, but like that's his version of success. It's not necessarily
Right.
mine. You know what I
The
mean?
fame, the glory, and but there's
Yeah,
also the price of that. There's
yeah.
price to that, and there's such a pressure.
There's
Like,
always that dude too. Like in skateboarding, we build up like one dude. Like remember, it was like Sheckler, it's Tony Hawk. There's always like, and this seems like the Olympics too. It's like there's like some saving grace. Like we're gonna have the Olympics and da da da, and it's like, I mean, it might be great for some shops some of the time, and it might bring some money. But then we're gonna go back to every 4 years, where like there's just 4 years where you're gonna need to love and live and breathe skateboarding, and there's a lot of people doing that. Like
right.
or not just skateboarding, like you own a business and you have other things like that you
Yeah.
offer, so like the Olympics might help those industries out here and there, but it's like small and select,
And
and
it
it's
kind of
like
drains it. So as fast as things come up, as they go down, and like they say, like these cities and stuff that have the Olympics, like you would think it'd be so good for them, but it actually strips them of their resources a lot of times too. If you look in the history of that, and what happened with us, I feel like in the skate industry, and we could blame it a little bit on the pandemic and like, oh, there's a big surge of the pandemic, and there was, but that met alongside with the Olympics, and then the interest kind of faltered a little bit. I remember whenever this was about, I don't know, 10 years ago or so, Michael Phelps was super big and the Olympics was going on. I went out to the pool at the complex I was living at. Everybody was thinking they were going to be fucking Michael Phelps. Like, no one was at the pool before. They're like, and I'm like, what?
everyone broke out their Speedo and fucking
Yeah.
goggles and shit,
Like you are not Michael Phelps. It's like 10 you got to eat like fucking 10, 15,000 calories like to even like touch him. Like come on.
That's amazing. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I guess like kind of an answer to what you're saying or to the Olympics thing is like for me like so this is a perk of how I grew up, which is fucked up to say, but like my life started in a recession kind of, like I had like crazy shit happen and I don't know. I was used to like not much, and like
Right.
to me skateboarding is endlessly valuable whether trends go up and down, like I don't have a retail store, so like again, keep that in mind. I do have a business to run, but
Yes.
like I just have the brand, and like to me, I'm a little crazy because I'm like, skateboarding's always worth investing in, no matter what,
Yeah.
the ups and the downs. There's something in it that just like it's endless to me, but like as a grand scale to pull back and look at it as a whole industry and think about it, like it's hard, and there's so many different types of shops and different people that run shops. And like I've seen brands like I've seen shops last 30 years,
Yeah.
through all the ups and downs and have highs and lows and still like have a fulfilling life and like
Yeah.
whatever. And then I've seen shops and brands that have just failed miserable because maybe sometimes the dude who's doing it is in it for different reasons, or it's not enough and they want more, or whatever the reason is, or you got into it and you think it would make you so much money because the hype, and then then you realize there's downtime too, and like so like I don't really know, like there's gonna be highs and lows in the whole thing. Like
Yeah. That's
I
true.
think the best way the industry can help itself is like just stay connected to skateboarding and to the
Right.
people in it, and go do the events and like
Think
you
of the
know
human aspect more.
I try to film tons of people because like I love filming and I've like gotten good at it over the years because I've just been filming a lot and I love editing.
I do like your I love
Yeah.
your angles and shit a whole
I
lot.
know so many skateboarders too, and I'm always like, and I love all types of skateboarding. So I'm like, and I just know like it's cool to grow something and get the feedback like, yo, we love the vlogs, and then they get to be in the vlog. Like the other day, I went to the Edge. And this happens a lot. I went and this kid, that I've seen a bunch. Braden, who's been ripping, he does all the events and stuff, but I didn't really know him that well. But like I just seen him one day, and he's rocking our new All I Need tee. He had the mouse with the side
Yeah.
cart with the frog in it, and
Okay. Yes, I know which one you're talking
yeah,
about.
and we made a shirt, and he was wearing it, and I hadn't even seen that one. I got like a sample, but I didn't see the navy one, and he had the
Yeah.
navy one, and I was like, and I like went up to him. I was like, dude, sick shirt, and he was like, hell yeah, I like the shirt a lot, and I was like, that's sick. And
Mhm.
then it just gave me a reason to hang out with him. I hung out with him, skated the mini ramp, did a bunch of lines, and then like by the end of it, he was trying a hard trick. I was like, let me film that, and then I filmed like 10 clips of him because he was already warmed up. We had a session, it was fun, and he like had tricks and filmed all this stuff, and he's in the vlog, you know. And then like I get to send him his clips, and he'll end
And
up posting
post
them
that.
and sharing them, and it's like, so I don't know. That's how I stay connected. Is like obviously podcasting too. Is like reaching out to people like you and
Yeah.
other skateboarders and like stay like that. That's the best we can do is just stay connected. And if there's cool shit going on, support it. Like I always try to go to all the fundraisers or skate jams, or like I try to go to all the shops when I can. Like my hard part is trying to get free and have the days to go do all the cool stuff half the
Yeah.
time, especially in summer. Like I have so many little groms that want to film, and they're getting so good, and now they want to learn about street skating, and like I want to take them all to new parks and skating,
Cool,
like
man.
uh but yeah, like I don't really know what the answer is, but there's going to be highs and lows. But the
Yeah.
more you are connected to the things that you're selling and you love, and like in your, it doesn't mean you have to do it. Like I get what you're saying about delegating and extent.
Right.
You need to work with other people and collaborate, because like working, like building All I Need, I learned that because I was like, all right, I need a sales rep because I can focus on the marketing, because I love skating and I love doing all the filming and editing and podcasting and talking about skateboarding. And I need someone who's going to be focused on the actual sale, you know, because like
Conrad.
I'm just like skateboarding is endlessly valuable to me. I'm like, this
Yeah.
is worth investing in, you know, and that's a good bad thing, because I'm like, I extend myself a lot. I'm like, I try a lot of different things, but I
Yeah.
have the privilege of that because I work hard and I have work ethic and I can
Right.
afford to do it, you know, and not all things work, you know, and it's like you got to keep going and trying, like, but so I don't really know, but I think like just like I always look at the kids, dude. I know it might be cliche to say that, but like to me, I'm like inspired to watch the
Children.
next. Like there's so many, not just the children, but like
Yeah.
just the next generation of people learning to skateboard, and if they're like interested in it. Like I have a fucking growing Grom team of kids that are just so psyched on skating, and that's because they're watching the older people do it too. Like
Right.
I go to skate parks and there's just all ages, and kids are seeing all types of epic skating, and it's just like feeding that fire, and then having the brand and having little kids involved. And not just that, I have the pro team and the AMs, but having like the next generation. So that's what I was getting at earlier, is like with the brand, I like someone did that for me. That's how I was able to go pro. My friend Charlie Thomas and RP Bess. RP works with ProTech, and Charlie Thomas is just a legendary skateboarder. And they worked at World Industries, and they both
Right.
skate. And they both RP used to work at Duff's. Like he's a lifelong skater. Charlie's a lifelong skater from Louisiana, and they got jobs because Charlie was pro, and like RP shot photos, and like then they got jobs at World as team manager and brand manager, and they like saw me, and I was like having all this output and super like hyped on skating. And they're like, yeah, we want to sponsor you and turn you pro, you know.
Yeah.
And they did all the emails, they did all the work, they like did everything, did all the marketing and everything, and all I had to do was skate and get the clips, which is like what I wanted to do. It was a lot of
Right.
work, and I like blood sweat tears, but like they did it, you know. They took
Yeah.
time to make it a business and work at it and focus on it so I could live that dream. So now I feel like that's kind of my obligation, is like they built me up, so I got to build up the next, you know. Like that's kind of like a having a brand, and like and the people got to do the work, you know. Like kids, like I'll help give them opportunities and stuff, but they got to put the work in and show the interest, and it's like
Right.
long term, you know. Like it takes a long time to like stick with something to get good enough at it, you know. So but it's just cool to set that up, because like I feel like that was lost in skateboarding. Like with the magazines and videos, I had an objective, a goal. It was
Right.
like meet up with a photographer and meet up with a filmer. They
Mhm.
film you, and then if they work at a magazine, I'd get so like to turn pro, I had to have checkouts in every magazine. I wrote for Birdhouse,
Yeah.
and so I had Tony Hawk on my side. So I'm riding for his company, and I'm in Southern California, and the way to get noticed was to shoot with photographers and get in the magazines. So I had a clear cut objective, and I was
Right.
focused on like, all right, I'm gonna link up with all these photographers and shoot all these things, and it'd be sick to get a checkout. That let me like get my name out there. I had a roadmap, and then the internet comes, and it seems like there's no roadmap for how to like get
Yeah.
sponsored or do something, or like it just seems like the Wild West for kids. So like my
Yeah.
thing with All I Need was like, how do I wanted to grow the YouTube channel so we could build like video content together, like the 4-in-1 video magazine, because that's what 4-in-1 used to do is they would take the whole industry and they would make these videos, and it was all the events, it was the up and coming skaters, it was the pros, and they'd have it all in one episode, like an hour long of just like Southern California skate industry with all these personalities and stuff.
Right.
And it was thriving because there were so many people alive and skating, and there were AMs and pros and like all ages, and like people were just living it and doing it. So like to me, that's like with the brand, I was like, let's build like this like 4-in-1 video magazine vlog. And then with the podcast, I was like, it'd be sick to like connect with shops and connect with amateurs and pros, and like let's talk and like
Yeah.
talk about skateboarding and the industry and whatever, or life or whatever. This is a cool platform to have to be able to do it, you know? And
Yeah.
yeah, and then the tangible side of having a shop or a brand is like the artwork, working with an artist, putting it onto an actual product, seeing that product
Like
sell, like,
real.
and like an idea turned into like, you know, a dollar sign, and then you can put that money back into the brand and do another cool thing or whatever, you know, like but like that's the only way I know how to do it. Like I like as far as like an industry, like I was like just build these things and get people
Right.
involved and try to like connect the dots. Like, and that's kind of where I wanted to go with you with the skate shop is like that's sick that there's a skate shop near you. Tell me a little bit about that. I mean a skate park, sorry. I was just
Yeah.
saying shop, skate
Yeah,
park.
so the skate park, it will be opening like soft opening next week. I don't know if any locals are really going to see this, but it's like under wraps right now. Shouldn't they're really not supposed. I'm not really supposed to say anything about it. Soft opening next week, I guess, or whatever. But
Is
yeah,
the park finished?
it's finished, and that's the problem. So like the thing is, it's just really became a little bit of a headache. It's not a problem that the park is finished, but it's a problem that it's finished and it's not opened.
Yeah, no, no, that makes
No
sense.
fence there, and like so what happened too was let's say some kids were skating over there after they had closed it down after it was finished, and then it opened for like a day or two or something, or everyone thought it was open because online it said it was open. So we had put out a post saying that the skate park was complete, but it's not yet open. And people just seen skate park complete, boom, and they went out there, I guess, and then they got caught, and the cop said, we already gave you warning tickets. I guess there's a group of kids that already got warning tickets. Who said you can skate over here? Oh, Never Everboard said we could. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, I never said that. I was like, it's complete. I didn't say that it was opened, but whatever. So just dealing with that hurdle, dealing with the hurdle of the town and bureaucracy, and the town wanting to, assume full credit for getting the park there and having it open, which, and in a sense they kind of help push things forward, but not really. Like they were totally in opposition for it because our skate park was destroyed 2 years ago by a hurricane. And so we had to push real heavy for them not to turn it into a parking lot. They were looking at a different space that wouldn't have worked, which was, it was basically intercoastal wetlands and that kind of thing. And they actually did like a land trade deal, which was new to me. I didn't know that's a thing that they could fucking do. But I guess like a city could be like, hey, well, I know we can't legally build on these wetlands, but will you let us if we trade you a space of land that equals the same space of land that we want to build on? So they can literally trade that back to the government. And now it's protected land, but now they could build on a wetland. And I'm like, oh, okay. So that's how that works. So like, it's funny, like what you're saying too, like being involved with this, being involved with business, being involved with the skateboarding. like being involved with anything, like there's so many other things you can learn just through the process. And it's the process is most important a lot of times. You got to focus when you're going through the process to see what you could take from it. But anyways, yeah, it's great that the park is going to be back. We've been
They
without a skate park for 2 years.
they need to do a grand opening, man. That's what they need to do. Just kick it off.
So
Instead of fighting the tidal waves as the park's finished, just do the grand opening.
So how about this? So we are doing a grand opening, right? We had a plan to have like an opening party for a couple years, and I think we've talked about that a little bit, right? Like a, I'd love for you guys to come out to the opening party. So the plan was to have that party. The thing is, in order to have a party like that,
I
as
still want to go out there no matter what, though. I'm coming
okay, all
down,
right,
dude. We're gonna
let's
find a time to. I'll load up the. I bought a van just to go on skate trips to
okay,
like
fuck yeah,
force me to go on skate trips.
let's do it because you said on your bucket list you wanted to hit the East Coast
I
for the
do. I want to go down, dude. I love. I like. I'm learning. I love a lot of people from North Carolina.
yeah, we're cool people most times. So
Seems that way.
so yeah, like I had planned it out for a while and you almost feel like a little like kind of slighted because we did a lot, our shop did a lot, and I went, in order to get the skate park back because it wasn't going to happen. Like got over 2,000 signatures on a petition. I reached out to all the local media outlets, spoke before town council, Park and Rec Center advisory board, convinced council members to accept it so they approve it. We got in the budget the year prior so that the next year whenever they go to approve it, it was already in the budget. So like I did a lot of things just to make sure this was going to happen because it was important to happen. And I talked about having a party then now in the like last inning or whatever, like we get contacted. I got contacted by town of Oak Island, and town manager wanted to meet with us. I'm like, okay, cool. And so they tell us, he starts telling me, I mean, about this opening party they're going to have, and they'd like us to be a part of it. And I said, yeah, I'd love to be a part of it. How can we help? And like they want us to put on the tournament. They had already got the bands in place, and it's, let's just say it's not the bands like I would have selected to be there. And I'm like, okay, like it's one of their bands. We have an older demographic in this area, but it doesn't make sense. The guys are out of touch. So what they really needed to do was to have, someone like me or you or like to do this opening party. So we do it the right way. The tournament's set up the right way. And that's why they called on me because they probably didn't know really how to set up the tournament. And so I'm like, okay, cool. So are you gonna put us down like as a co-host for doing this event? Say Never Ever Words is doing the tournament. And he said, no, we just want you guys to do the tournament. And I'm like, what? Like, I thought that was like, it's something I shouldn't even have to ask for, but I thought it was understood. Like, people want to see that. Like, Never Ever Words is putting it on. Skate Shop, the local skate shop is putting it on, not the town of Oak Island. Then it's just going to kind of come off like a rinky dink, like kind of lame party, So I don't know. I feel a certain way about that, but I think I spoke with the mayor and everything, and I think I figured out a way which I can kind of get things to work out. We'll let them have their party. I just don't really have enough time to plan a really great tournament with them.
Well, what we could do is just skate jam demo after they do their party, and we'll just come down and literally just bring the team. So you'll have a bunch of rippers, and then we'll just give out some products. We'll do like a skate jam. We could do best tricks, a couple of different best tricks, and give out some boards and like bring a filmer, have a filmer, so we make an edit of the day, and just
Uh,
do it your own way. I don't know. You might have to ask them and see if you need a permit and all that, or just renegade style. But either way, like skate jam would be fun as hell, and like yeah, I don't know. I'm down, dude.
you
Like
said so.
that solves the problem, because then never
Yes.
ever throw brings the pros, brings the skate team,
Yeah,
which is cool.
and then it's cool, it's official, and like so, yeah. Let's hash that out. We'll plan out like a time that would like work well for that, like because yeah, that'd be super sick. And
Yeah,
like with the skate box, and like I can cook and stuff too. So like
that'd be sick.
we could have like cookout or whatever, or We were even talking about
We could do
something
a
like,
raffle maybe. You might have to look into the town policies and stuff, but do raffles too would be sick. Those are always fun. I do tons of skate jams. Like a lot of people around here are throwing tons of skate jams. All we just did a fundraiser for Lighthouse Skate Park the other day, indoor park in Pawtucket, and they got kicked out of their place. But we threw this skate jam and raised like a good amount of money, and they just secured.
sick.
I think they might have secured a new location by now, but
Okay.
like just like it was jam packed, dude. Everyone was ripping. I actually got to work on that edit because I stacked a lot of clips that day. I filmed so many people. It was insane, dude.
If you get a chance, look at the park on I put it on Instagram, I put some pictures up there.
Yeah, I
I
was looking a little bit, dude.
like
I'm gonna go right now.
okay. Yeah, because really like it's pretty mellow park. But like even if you want to bring out some of the Groms and check it out, but like there's some potential there. It's a fast moving park. It's not a huge park, but I think there's a lot of fun that could be had there. I
Dude.
think it's what Oak Island really needs. After everything's said and done, I feel like that team did an excellent job on it. I mean, they did a way better job than I was
Oh,
even
dude, that park looks fun as hell. That across down and rail, Andrews is gonna love that thing, dude. Those hubbas are beautiful. Let me see. A bank to tranny. Evan, I'll try to get Evan to come. Dude, that long quarter pipe over the mani pad looks fun as hell. That little up ledge, little metal up ledge, little ride on thing. Yeah, it looks super fun. We'd have a blast there.
Yeah, it's cool, isn't it? And you'll be at the beach here too. Well,
Win-win.
you're like close to the water now too, right?
Yeah, but not it's not like a beach. It's
Okay.
like we got like I live near like New Bedford and Fall River. They're like we got the ocean, but it's all boats and fishing and like
Oh, yeah.
it's I mean there's some beach in Narragansett. You got to go there, but then it's, it's like different vibes, you know.
Definitely, definitely. And I don't know. I feel like when you guys come out here, I feel like you're gonna still feel a little bit at home. You
Oh,
know,
hell yeah.
just because like I mean like it's pretty chill area. It's island time. Things are moving a little slower than over there, of course, but there's a ton of people from up north have moved here too. So like pretty much whatever you have around there, we have a lot of the same stuff. Like, it's kind of, I don't know, a little bit like a melting pot. Like there's so much change happening here because Brunswick County is one of the fastest growing counties or the fastest growing county in North Carolina. And, which Oak Island's in Brunswick County. North Carolina is like one of the fastest growing states. So like things are changing pretty rapidly over here. But a lot like we don't have like big commercial like buildings around here either. Like you're not gonna find big hotels on the beach. You're not gonna find any fast food places on Oak Island. You'll find them in Southport, but like no fast. It's all small like local shops and local restaurants. So it's like a real quaint kind of beach. But now the first step towards the future, I guess some may call it, is they're going to implement paid parking this season, which is interesting. But not at the commercial businesses. Of
Yeah.
course, you guys would all park here or wherever, like the hotel, or if you wanted to stay at my place, whatever you guys want to do. But yeah, so like they're gonna start charging for parking here.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It never did because all the neighboring beaches around here have started. And so now, like, but what's so totally fucking nuts for me is it's not like a meter. It's like you pull up and there's a sign and they're tasking people with taking a picture of the QR code and
Yeah.
paying online. And it says, please pay for parking.
Yeah.
Now, if you were like around like 18 years old or so and you say, please pay for parking, that's going to be a fucking suggestion to me. And I'm like,
You
okay,
you already
good.
heard me. I was like signs, signs, everywhere, signs.
Yeah, like, fuck your
They're
sign.
fucking everywhere.
They're everywhere. I don't believe it. I don't believe that shit.
You should talk to Conrad about that. Conrad's always fighting the system.
Oh, I know. I
Yeah,
know.
he's been battled.
I
Conrad's
know.
he's
Rhode
done some
Island.
epic shit though.
Yeah, yeah, he's having a hard time that he was like because I don't know, they're privatizing a lot of shit over there is what it sounded like.
Yeah, it seems like a constant battle, you know. Dude, we'd love to come. I definitely come. We'll have to do like we'll drive one day, get down, sleep, wake up, skate jam the next day, and then drive
Okay.
home, and
And
figure it
and
out.
kidnap Conrad.
That would be sick.
Get him to come
I'll
too.
ask him, I'll try. He needs it. They'll
He
give him a
does.
reason to come, dude. He'll come Bertleman
Yeah.
all over some of those quarter pipes.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Great
fucking
hands
pursuit.
down, surfer moves out there.
Yeah, and he might even see Ben Gravy out here.
Oh, hell yeah. Ben's the
Yeah.
man. I love Ben. He's so
So he
awesome.
yeah, he's came down here and I mean he's super chill. He's met with different kids around here because they were I don't know, they like really they like followed him, idled him and that kind of thing. So like yeah, he had no problem meeting with people like and doing his own kind of like demo and stuff too.
I got invited on a surf trip with Conrad and Ben Gravy and a couple other guys that were legendary surfers and
Sick.
Lucas. Yeah, and I don't surf. Like
Yeah.
I like took surf lessons and on a big
So you
ass
were the
board.
wild card that time.
Yeah, but it was right around the time when my mom passed away, and it was just like I went to Puerto Rico with them, and they just took me to endless beautiful beaches, and I just laid on beaches all day, and I surfed a little bit, and like just crawled out there and like got
Yeah.
beat up by the waves, and they had me climbing. But Ben Gravy's just hit his like his energy and hype like that like helped a lot. Like I was really hyped to hang out with Ben for a while. He's
That's
like
cool.
such a legend.
That's sick. That's sick. Yeah. Yeah, he just I mean that's the vibe he just gives off, it seems like.
Yeah.
He's just like chill, laid back guy, and we don't have any good surf over here for him to even like come out here or something. Like our surf sucks.
That's
Like
sick that he's out there.
yeah,
That's
it's like
awesome.
you got shit. Like it's not even. It's like maybe waist high. Like, but what's super funny too is like the recent like national coverage that like Oak Island received or whatever because we don't get a whole lot. Like if they're filming a movie or something comes up, but we were recognized as one of the most dangerous like beaches in America.
Oh
like
shit. Oh
like
shit.
what? But like because of stupid shit like where because there's like what happens is let's say we have 5 to 10 maybe 5 to 10,000 now in our regular season. When 4th of July hits there's about 70 to 80,000 people here.
Yeah.
So like older people they'll go out to the water. They like he already was gonna have a heart attack. He just so happened to have it in the water. Well,
Yeah.
now it's like water rescue has to come out there, and we were one of the only beaches that has an independent organization that's water rescue for the island.
Well,
It's like nonprofit, like self-funded, that kind of thing. So that draws more attention to that too like because they're going out there trying to save people's lives and
yep.
stuff. So
That makes
that's
sense.
and so they're out there more often. They're spotting those problems more often. And I mean, crime's not bad out here, whatever. Like, Myrtle Beach still was up about three or four up on that list. So,
Yeah, yeah.
and like I said, Myrtle Beach is 45 minutes away. So even if y'all wanted to check out Dirty Myrtle, while y'all are down here, you could go check that out too. And there's a park over there too.
I have my friend Anthony's out that way, Gregerson. He has a sick YouTube channel. It's Adventures at Skateboarding at 40 or Adventures in Skateboarding at 40. And he's come on the podcast a few times, but paratrooper. He's been doing it for like 20 years. He's like serving and like but he skates and he just picked up skating at 40. But I want to visit him too. So yeah, dude, that'll be super fun. I do like missions like that. That one's a little out there, but that's still worth it. We'd do it. Like
Okay.
we've been doing smaller missions like so I just drove 4 hours to Talent Skate Park in Vermont. So
Hmm.
everyone met at my house at like 7 in the morning. We drove 4 hours after hitting the gas station and whatnot. And
Yeah.
other like if we see a street spot or something, like jump out of the van, go hit it. Yeah. four
That's
hours there, skate for 4 hours, and then 4 hours back and get like Buffalo Wild Wings or Cracker Barrel on the way back.
that's
And
sick.
just like full day mission and get that's what me and Westgate used to do back in the day. We'd 4 hours, take the Greyhound to New York, spend our whole day in New York skating, filming, having a blast, and then 4 hours back, get back at like midnight, be exhausted. That's kind of what I've been doing. Like it's been super fun. But like
Life, right?
if we go down your way, we just get a hotel for a night and then do the
Okay.
skate jam the next day. We'll figure it out. Let's talk after.
Okay.
Let's talk like during the week, and we'll
Yeah,
figure it out. Start working on the details so we can line it up.
that'd be perfect.
Thanks for being down to do this podcast too. I appreciate that.
Yes.
And I was gonna say, could you just plug the Instagram? But I see it in the background at Never Ever Boards. Bam, 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 bam.
Yeah.
That's sick, man. Yeah, and thanks for supporting All I Need in World too, man.
I love you guys.
Yeah, same, dude. I appreciate it, man. And if we can ever help, and yeah, like I said, we'll come down there. That if we can help in that way and do a skate jam,
Huge.
that would be a blast. And we'll probably find street stuff on the way down and back, so
Yeah.
should be epic.
Thank you too, Anthony, for having me. And really thank you for everything you guys have done. Seriously, like from any other kind of brand that we've worked with directly, I mean, you guys have been more supportive than anybody. And
Hell yeah.
you too have been. And I like that's why I say like I don't understand like how you get so much done in a day. Like I mean, I see too that you support so many local brands and shops or small shops and small brands and stuff too because I see your name pop up all over Instagram and I'm like how and not and, from your account from All I Need and I'm just like dang like see man I can tell like you live you breathe it you believe it and that's awesome man and it's like it's all genuine it's all love and I appreciate you I appreciate everything about having us here and just working together I think it's awesome.
Hell yeah. Thanks, Matt. And we'll do this again. We'll give life a little bit of time and then we'll podcast again. You have to go in the rotation.
Okay.
You were super fun to talk to and I like try to fit people in on like a schedule. I go through the team riders and then I have a
Yeah.
couple I like fit different characters in and like it would be cool to just keep having this like not only working relationship through that, but also just like do a demo and then do another podcast. We could do another
Cool.
one after the skate jam demo.
Yes, I'm down. I feel like we have a good rhythm too.
Yeah, definitely, man. All right. Uh, thank you.
Thank you, Anthony. I appreciate you. You have a good night. If you need anything, let me know. We'll talk during the week.